All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of the Big Shred Podcast. I am John Matos. Thanks for hanging out with us on another Wednesday evening at 7. If you've been missing the show, that's fucking my bad because I had to take a little bit of time off to finish the new Abiotic record. So I was tracking with Killian, finishing up bass, finishing up all my parts and shit. So had to reschedule some interviews and some guests that I had. So we'll have John Abernathy of Wastewalker, who's also in Conducting the Grave. He's going to be jumping on a stream later this month. And the homie Brody Utley from Rivers. He's going to be on next Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when we scheduled it. I'll confirm, of course, and you'll see a post and all that shit when it's all official. But yeah, thanks for fucking bearing with me and rejoining, if you will. It's been a little bit of a challenge doing this thing and trying to, record and get everything ready for a new record. So that's kind of why I've been slacking a little bit on the YouTube game and on the Spotify game. But news is, at the end of this month, I'm going to basically wrap season 1 of the Big Shred Podcast. Going to take a little break and kind of just get caught up on uploading everything, get everything on Spotify, get everything on YouTube for all the past episodes so people without Facebook can watch them and all that good shit. And then gather a bunch of new guests and get ready for season 2. So season 2 should kick ass. I probably will only take like a few weeks, maybe a month off or something, and then get the ball rolling again. But yeah, got to start working on some content for the new record and all that fun shit. So the work does not stop once an album is recorded. In fact, it's just getting started. So, but super excited. It's been 5 years since the last one, and I wasn't sure if we were ever going to do another one again. So just fucking good times all around. So appreciate everybody hanging out on the stream already. Noel, what's going on? Josh, Scott, Kyle, Alazar, who is our resident editor of the Spotify episodes and just homie producer extraordinaire. What's good? So couple abiotic things. So we're currently in mixing on the new record. So again, we should still be on schedule to get this thing released in November. Don't hold me to that with all the Corona bullshit going on, but again, we're working on it. And we have our second batch of masks up on our indie merch page. So we did 100 of them and they sold out pretty quickly. We're able to make about a $300 donation to coronavirus relief from the sales of those masks, which was awesome. So with this round, we are going to be donating 50% of the proceeds to Black Lives Matter and the ACLU. So if you're interested in wearing a comfy ass mask, I've got one. They're fucking mad comfy. And they're double-sided. It's got the logo and the human beings are disgusting creatures on the other side. So you can wear them at work still and shit. Visit the indie merch page. Check it out. Grab one. And we'll be making a donation once those are all gone too. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and we'll bring on our first guest for the evening on our fucking episode 25, which I didn't think this bitch was going to be getting into episode 25, so this is pretty cool. Austin Archey. Austin, what is good, homie? Let me get you unmuted here. How you been, man?
I'm chilling, man. I would be lying if I told you I had pants on right now. So I'm chilling super hard.
Yeah, you're doing better than me, dude. I'm wearing pants. I gotta get on this no pants tip when I'm doing this thing.
I don't see a reason. I'm in my own house. I'm in my own space. I don't want to waste laundry. So
like we were
I'm
talking
chilling.
about it too, with that baller ass brick wall behind you, looking all legit.
It's pretty cool. I gave you the best possible scenery for this, so I hope everyone else can appreciate the brick as much as you do.
Well, cheers, brother. I'm gonna take a quick swig before we.
Yeah, I'll join you. Let's go. I got some tea Havana.
There you go.
It's my favorite. It's crack.
Dude, I missed the fuck out of you,
sponsored.
man. There you go. I missed the fuck out of you, man. It's been, I don't even remember the last time I saw you. I know I was already up in Massachusetts, though. It was,
yeah.
Fuck. Do you remember when that was? You've been doing so many shows.
I mean,
But
it was either
that's
Carnifex,
what it
like a
was.
couple years ago. Yeah,
Yep. It was. I don't know if that was
yeah,
Carnifex Whitechapel.
it might
Maybe.
have been Carnifex. Was it the Despised Icon run before they were on it? Maybe it was like Fallujah and everybody.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It was us, Fallujah, Rings of Saturn.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that was such a good show,
Yeah,
man. That was such a good
damn
show.
that is a long time ago. I had a
Feels
good time
like
that
it.
tour.
Yeah, it feels like it in Corona days, man. Because Corona days is just like every day feels like a month.
Yeah, no, seriously, that was I think our album Flesh Coffin came out on that tour actually. So yeah, that's probably about 3 years ago, maybe
Damn, son.
even a little more.
Yeah, yeah. That's about as long as I've been up here. So that sounds about right. Fucking 3 years. And we played a show together. Like I want to say it was like 2013 or some shit.
Oh,
Long
yep,
ass
at the
time ago.
loading dock.
Loading dock. I was gonna ask you if you remembered where, like, what that place was
Uh,
called because I forgot.
it's literally a loading dock.
Yeah, and
it was very hot. I
and
remember, yeah.
the sound was like the best sound of any venue ever.
Dude, not for nothing. That place slaps. Like now, actually, I don't think they redid it when we played, but we
No.
came back. Yeah, we came back, dude. The sound there is actually like incredible.
Oh, good. Well, I guess
So
they definitely stepped up because when we played, it was one of those whole situations where like the promoter I think brought the PA with him, and it was
yep.
like 212s or some shit, and then whoever was doing front of house was up and behind the band.
Yeah. Now I remember.
I was like,
Yeah, no, they have some crazy. Yeah, they got like X32 board up in there now, like
word.
it's slapping up in there. Yeah, I remember that show just because there was no space on stage, and that was like a show where every drummer I think other than me had two kick drums.
Yeah,
So that just made it. I felt very blessed to not have two kick drums that day, even though it's a big flex.
it
I
is a
just,
big
you know,
flex.
I said I was very happy to not be that guy that day.
Yeah, dude, that was a fun show though, man. That was, and I think that was the last time that we played together. But since then, you guys have obviously blown the fuck up. So it's been awesome to see, and just great to see like the hard work paying off because we were playing those venues, playing those shows that we maybe weren't making a whole lot of money, and we were fucking grinding it
Yep.
out, and that just kind of shows that trying to do what we do, that you gotta like eat the proverbial shit to get somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. I can remember like it was yesterday listening to Abiotic EP with Adam, just being like, "Fuck,
uh
man, these guys just got signed to Metal Blade. Like that's where we want to be. Like, we ran that thing to the ground, man. Listening to
yeah.
that shit in our early days. Oh yeah, we definitely stole some riffs for sure.
Nah, no way,
Well,
dude.
inspired. We were inspired by you guys a lot for sure. So
Oh,
it's
well, that
cool to
means
be
a
here
lot,
with
man.
you.
I didn't even know that. That's so sick.
Oh, definitely. I could send you timestamps when this is over.
Okay, that would be interesting. Oh shit.
I know a specific song in general on Psalms, our first full length that we were really like, yes, abiotic riff right here. So I'm gonna send you
Word.
that shit.
Oh
You
man.
tell me if we did. You tell me if we did all right.
Okay, man, you guys have been doing more than all right, dude. Like, I was just listening to Immortal, and it's a fucking banger. So, congratulations on that. I know, there was a bunch of shit going on, when you guys dropped that record, and
Oh yeah,
I can hear you guys stepped it up on that album. I can hear there was a lot of hard work that went into that album. It's heavy as fuck. It's catchy as fuck. It's got all kinds of awesome different elements. So just a big ups to you and Adam and the new guys in the crew for fucking just ripping it on that album, dude.
thank you, man. Yeah, that was me and Adam, man. Like when we
Nice.
went to the studio, it was weird because our old guitar player just left, Connor, like a month before that.
Yeah.
And me and Adam predominantly wrote the music anyway, but it was the first time that we just had only each other in the room at all times, like bouncing ideas. And we almost need that other person that isn't so involved in the writing to like step up and say, "Hey, no, this sounds cool," or "Hey, try this." So it was really just the two heads, and I mean, we made it through it. There
Yeah.
weren't many. We don't really, we're past the like fighting over ideas type shit. We just
Yeah.
want everyone to be happy with their performances. But
Yep.
I'm just blessed that our producer Josh kind of played that man during the recording session of just like throwing his ideas out there because he's very hands on. So
Nice.
yeah, it was definitely a weird time. It was in the middle of the winter, in the middle of northern Michigan, like snowstorms every day, like foot or two of snow
Fuck.
every day. So we definitely channeled our inner black metal by being in that.
Yeah,
So
you can hear it, dude. Like you can hear the influence, on the new record, and I think it's a sick, it's a sick kind of mesh of like the death metal and the deathcore sound that you guys were known for, but kind of taking it to like this symphonic kind of level on the new shit. So again, props. I know I hadn't done it in a little while. I guess maybe I underestimated a little bit, and just being in the middle of it now with our new record, it's like, this shit is a bitch. It's not easy.
nah, it is not easy, man. And then yeah, we're working on stuff now. I mean, through quarantine, So
Yeah.
my other guitar player Andrew is actually on his way down. We're gonna work on some ideas in a little bit. So
Oh fuck yeah.
yeah, I mean, just trying to keep busy, trying to get some new music out for when we're ready to announce a new vocalist and all that stuff.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's dope. That was gonna be one of my topics. So, what you've been doing during quarantine, and I know you guys, like right at the beginning of this, you guys were out in Europe, right?
Yeah.
What the
We
fuck happened there, man?
Well, it was kind of like the days leading into the tour. We're rehearsing, and then we got a few emails saying like, "Hey, Italy's done," and I'm like, "Yeah, I seen that." 'Cause that was kind of like one of the hot spots when this all started,
Yep.
and then we started getting a little worried, like, oh, what if some other shows get canceled? That's gonna be a bummer. But we didn't really think it was gonna be where we're at now. Like, I don't think anyone did.
No.
But we were like concerned, and we were talking to our manager because, when we had the vocalist leave the band, we were wondering, hey, are we gonna be able to do this tour? But we just put out the album, so we're like, we kind of have to like
Yeah.
just suck it up, find someone to do the tour with us, and just like if that's the person that's going to be in the band, cool. But like it's a good like trial run for whoever it may be.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of options, a lot of cool options. We picked someone close from home, which ended up working out, but just because they could get to rehearsal and like practice
Right.
with us as many times as we needed. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then taking the flight over, I think we were all like kind of just like happy to like just here and the tour's not canceled, we're going. So like, we were really stoked to get there. And then as soon as we landed, I think we got word that like 2 other shows were potentially being canceled. And then I was like, all right, this is getting weird, but whatever. So we played the first show. It was dope. Berlin, like, almost sold out show. It was a good time.
Nice.
And then a few days to go by, and then it's like, oh well, this chunk of shows right in the middle is gonna get shut down. Like it was like Austria,
Fuck.
Poland, Prague, kind of everything in that area, and then Switzerland. So I was like bummed. I'm like, damn, like these are all places I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And it was right in the middle of the tour, so I was like, what are we gonna sit around for a week and a half, like whatever. So everything was day by day changing, and then eventually it just got so bad. We played Netherlands, and it was an amazing show. Like it was probably the best show of the tour. Even if
Nice.
it carried on, it was probably gonna be the best show of the tour. And then that show happened. We were driving, and that was when Trump put up his like, hey, this is what's going on type thing. And he was like, yeah, we're putting a travel ban on Friday. And that was on a Wednesday, that show. So and I remember I was hanging out with a friend. We were out drinking, and I come back to the bus for bus call, and like everyone was kind of sleeping. So I'm just like doing my thing, eating like some chips, hanging out in the front lounge, like trying to sober up. And then my guitar player just rushes out of his bunk. His hair's all fucked up. And he's like, we got to get out of here. And I'm like,
Fuck.
what? Like, I'm like wasted.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, I'm like, what? What do you mean we got to get out of here? And he's like, we got to go home, man. We're going to get stuck here. And I'm like, and I think because I was drunk, it was good because I kept a very level head. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's figure it out then. Like, fuck. So he's like, call the manager, call everybody. Like, we got to get home. So I call our manager, and we're like ducking in and out of service because we started driving.
Yeah.
And like he's like, and our manager actually contracted COVID. So
Whoa.
he was very, because he came to see us in Germany, and he was on his flight home when I called him, and he's like, dude, I feel like garbage. So when he got home, he got tested. He had it like on his way home.
Yeah.
So before that, not for nothing, like the industry was kind of like, hey. until everyone who's in charge, who knows things, says it's off, you're going to be on the tour. As soon as I called him, he was like, nah, dude, get home. Like, I feel like shit. Like, things are getting crazy.
Oh,
So
fuck.
that kind of snapped some reality into all of us. So, but yeah, it was really crazy. So we called him, we booked flights. Those flights ended up getting canceled. We
Ugh.
booked another round of flights the next day when we woke up. Those got canceled. So like we're like freaking out. We're like, dude, like, are we even gonna be able to get home? So then we found
Shit.
flights. Ken from Aborted actually like came in one day, and I'm sure you know Ken
Yeah.
or have met Ken. He's just like, yo, dude, found like a sick flight going to San Francisco nonstop for like $300 from Virgin. I'm like, where the fuck did you find that? So he showed me those flights that he booked, and I was like, oh shit, cool. So we booked through Virgin because luckily they just like out of nowhere booked out of London Airport, like just like a massive flights for like super cheap that were
Nice.
nonstop to New York City. So we booked those. Those were on a Monday. The last show we played, I think, was on a Friday. So we spent Saturday, Sunday in a hotel, just hanging out, kind of feeling defeated.
Yeah.
But at
Fuck.
that time, like the nerves were just so on high, just about like getting home that like
Yeah.
it didn't really matter that we weren't like playing shows or like. So we got home, felt great. No one actually my guitar player that's coming here. I mean, this has been 3 or 4 months now, but when we got home, he got it
Oh, dude. Wow.
through traveling home, so he was sick as a dog.
Fuck.
Um, and he was like, we're on the plane, and he was like, I could see before we got on the plane, he was like coughing a lot, and I was like,
Oh,
dude, if you
man.
start coughing on this plane, man, like I don't fucking know you,
Fuck.
man. Like I don't need them rounding us up. So I see him on the plane, just like red in the face, like holding in every
No.
cough for 8 hours. So yeah, we landed. I mean, it was a shit show. It was like 3 hour wait to get through the border. We had to go through all these different checkpoints, checking
God.
temperatures, them asking where we were, and. So yeah, the journey home was draining. So by the time we finally landed and got home, I mean, we were only gone for like maybe like a week and like a few days, but it
Right.
felt very long.
Yeah. All
Um,
the travel, dude.
yeah, it was, it was defeating, but like at first I was selfish and being like, my life's affected and like shit, but then when everyone's life got affected, everyone was taken out of work, like it almost like united me with everyone in a way, just because I was like, all right,
Right.
well, I'm not the only person suffering right now, so let's just do what we can.
Yeah.
And it sucks that our industry is going to be potentially the last one to come back,
Yep.
which hurts a little bit, but I
Yeah.
just hope and pray every day that people do what they got to do so that, we can get back to playing music at whatever capacity. And, because if I only play 5 shows this year, this will be the least amount of shows I've ever played since I started playing shows when I was 13 years old. So, I
Wow.
don't want this to be the year I play 5 shows.
I'm saying, man, that's fucking crazy. I'm hoping, to hear that your manager and, your guitar player are doing all right. Everybody recovered and everybody's doing good.
Yep. Yep.
Good, man. Because holy shit, all the people thinking that this shit's a hoax and all this shit. Like, come on, man. Like, it's
Nah.
obviously worldwide. Some Americans got it somewhere else, had to come back. Us, people like us on the road, had to come back from Europe, and it happened. And motherfuckers think that like anybody wants to be at home sitting here not doing what we want to do, what we love to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No.
it's yeah, it's crazy, but glad to hear that you guys got through that shit, man. And that's kind of shit can make or break a lot of people in touring. And obviously it's
Oh yeah.
unprecedented shit. Like you and I know very well the ups and downs of like the regular ups and downs of doing what we do. So throw a
Yeah.
fucking virus pandemic into the mix, and I could see some dudes calling it quits very easily.
Oh yeah, no, we get through this, we'll get through anything. I will never
Exactly.
complain about a small green room. I'll never complain that there's no outlets or a bad couch. Or I,
Yep.
I posted like something yesterday how like like some venue maybe pay like $2 for a bottle of water. It, like came up on my memories. I was like, I will pay $10 for a bottle of water if I have to the next
Right.
tour. Like I really don't care. Like that's how much I really honestly miss and love, doing what we do. Like and that's the thing. Like most people were like bitching about the Live Nation post about like the 20% cut thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'll take 20. Like it for me personally, that does not make or break me going on tour. Like if my pay is
Right.
cut 20%,
Yeah.
40%, even 50%. Like that just means we got to grind on merch more because that's
Yep.
where we make most of our dough anyway.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, like, the guarantee, that's the money that, the people that represent us take out of. So, as long as they're willing to take that cut, then, it's fine with me. Like, cause what am I going to do? If I can go play, I'm not going to not go play because they only want to pay me, $500-600. Like, we're going to go out. So definitely, we're geared up for next year. We got a lot of things planned. So let's hope that all goes through because that'll definitely make all this worth it. Just sitting at home miserable. As long as I know I can go out and tour the places that we're supposed to go next year, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that, man, and I'm sure you have, just like I have as well, have toured with some dudes that are a little jaded, a little like people wake up and complain, like you said, the green room and like this and about that, and it's like now you can see that shit can in a fucking instant be taken away from you.
Oh,
So
it's scary, man. Like I was
yep,
like, at first I was like, contemplating my entire existence. I was like,
yeah,
did I pick the wrong career path, right? Like for right now, yes, but at the end of the day, we just got to get creative on how we reach our fans, and it's
exactly,
forced me to, I've never had time at home to be myself. Like this is the longest I've sat at home in probably 5-6 years, like four
yeah,
months at a time. Like I've never sat at home like this, so it's cool. I've developed, some different relationships with, people, myself, and just like, getting to know, people that maybe I wouldn't have the time to, like when
yeah.
I'm out on the road and busy all the time. So, going on hikes, working on my health, I switched over to vegan diet recently and
Oh
like
shit, nice.
go, going on bike rides, just doing shit that I'm like, wow, look at me. Like
Yeah,
living
dude,
living a normal ass life. Like it's not so
nice.
bad. People are like, oh, I miss touring, but like I am happy where I'm at right now. So
That's
I'm
awesome to
I'm
hear, man.
thankful for that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Glad to hear you. That's fucking awesome. Hear you getting healthy and that's definitely going to translate into drumming too. Obviously, like
Oh
feeling
yeah,
better health wise, you'll be feeling better stamina wise behind the kit and shit. So that's awesome. And now you're just gonna have to be one of those guys who is the one guy or of the group of guys that like when they ask for catering, you're like, but
yeah. Sorry.
can't.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, man. Yeah, I haven't like smoked weed or anything. Like
Word?
I haven't smoked weed in like a year and
Wow.
almost a year and a half now. So
No shit.
yeah,
Well, good
I'm
for you,
barely
man.
drinking. Barely drinking. Cinco de Mayo, you sure?
Okay.
Couple here and there, but yeah, I haven't been sitting inside like doing any of that stuff. So that definitely, it's kind of it's hit or miss. Some days I'm like, yeah, I just want to fucking just do nothing, but I know it's not going to do anything for me. So just gonna keep on the wave and just keep, like you said, by the time we start touring, I'll be a whole different machine. So
Hell yeah, dude. Keep for sure riding that wave. Like, it's just gonna, bring positivity, like I'm sure you've seen already. You know what I mean? If you can keep
100%.
yourself motivated in that mindset, which is I'm sure like you honestly, like in my opinion anyway, should like use this time in with what you're doing, like use your platform to like connect with other people that are probably drowning in it right now. You know what I'm saying? And like be that example
Yeah.
of like, yo, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like come with me on this journey and let's do this shit together because there's probably people right now drinking their sorrows away, you know?
Yeah, nah, definitely. I think maybe I'll do a few little live stream things and just reach out because I know, yeah, right now, like, dude, I can't imagine like we're lucky enough we have friends, like we can
Yeah.
reach out to people. But like me and my buddy were just talking about it yesterday. Like, imagine being someone that hasn't had friends their whole life, only had their job to
Yep.
keep them like busy, and then now you can't even go to work. You can't even like go out with people that are your associates from work to have a drink, even if they're not your friends. Like,
Yeah.
and you're just alone. Like I'm very blessed that like I haven't been alone. I have plenty of people that FaceTime me, like talk with me, and like stay at my house. Because I have a 4 bedroom house right now all to myself. So it's like I just have people come over and like it's a safe haven. We all just chill inside and work on music or take some photos, whatever we could do to just be creative. So yeah, I definitely, like you said, gotta use my platform for some good, and I hopefully make people comfortable enough to talk to me about some shit and know that I don't
Yeah.
judge them. Because I've been through it all. I've done it all. I've seen it all. So yeah, it's a good tip. I'm definitely gonna take that and run with it.
Well, fuck yeah, proud of you, man. I know it. It's not easy to take those steps and to be consistent with it. So, good shit. So let's before we get into a little bit about Immortal, let's see who's chilling in the chat here. So um Rob, Big Rob. He says, "Yo, why does that new snare slap though?"
$900. That's why. Nah, that thing's great. Yeah, I love that thing. And again, that thing inspired me super hard to get
Nice.
playing. So I'm glad I got it.
Dylan Potts, the homie drummer extraordinaire, he's chilling. What's up, Dylan?
Yep, big dog.
Ben Towles from Grey Lotus. What's up, Ben
Yep.
Towles?
Oh man, seen him at NAMM. That was a good time.
Yeah, that's a little shredder right there, dude.
Drinking champagne in the DiMarzio suite. It was
Hey.
felt very cool in that moment. Watching Steve Vai walk in the room.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Nam
know.
is crazy as fuck, dude.
It was my first one. I had a
Oh,
fucking
yeah?
great time. I had a great time.
Yo, it's a fucking experience. It's like kind of sensory overload. Like there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much shit going on, so many people, so many like it's like playing a show times 1,000 where like you want to talk to somebody, but then someone else is coming up to you and like you're like, yeah, give me 1 second, and then you end up talking to somebody for 5 minutes and that person fucking dipped and like
Oh yeah, and it just sounds like Guitar Center in there at all times.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy up in there.
everybody playing Metallica and like Stairway to Heaven on fucking
Oh, yeah.
everything.
It's sick.
Chris Whited from Body Snatcher X King Conquer, the homie, says, "Hi Austin, I love you."
I love that man so much.
Such a good dude.
Such a great man.
Jared Klein from Rivers, we got a bunch of drummer posse chilling. He says, "Should have gotten a clock radio snare, dude."
Yes, I should have gotten the clock radio. I fucked up,
He
man.
said, "What a dumb idea." So dude, so let's change gears to talk a little bit about Immortal. So record's been out for a little bit already, but how are you feeling about it, man? How does it feel having as many records as you guys have under your belts now? How does it feel like being in the kind of position you guys are now, getting the tours you're getting? You're not comparing or whatever, but it's, and I don't give a shit because we took the time off and it's what happens when you do, but bands that didn't take the time off have kind of stepped up and over us in a lot of different ways. And so how does it feel being in that position, man?
It's a bit surreal. I mean, definitely, with Immortal, like, we went through a lot to make that record happen. And with everything that happened after, like with the record, it kind of, in a way felt like, wow, we can never catch a break. Because we knew the information around Christmas, and then the album came out that next month. So like definitely the anxiety, anticipation leading up to releasing the record was a bit there, because I was like, shit, here's another record, and like I don't like to be a band associated with drama and headlines, but like unfortunately that's just been our case through Tom leaving for Chelsea Grin, us getting the new guy, and then the new guy doing whatever he did, and then.
Right.
So, like, it kind of upset me in a way to, like, because I genuinely care about music, and, like, I just hate to see that. But what I learned is just, it got people talking. I feel like people thought it was their duty to listen to the record and to comment on how they felt about the record, giving, the climate of what was going on. So,
Yeah, I agree.
in a way, it was bittersweet, because it's like, okay, this forced people to listen to the record. It did very well. But luckily enough, people liked the record enough to buy it, and we did have an amazing first week. So it's like, I can't be too mad about how it all went down, because like I wish things weren't the way they were, but I think we're in a better position now with just like seeing eye to eye with each other. Because the last guy, I mean, there were issues, that we had before before we learned all the horrible things. Like it was just internal issues, and like we didn't see it lasting much longer with the guy. So like when people are like, oh, you kicked him out for the allegation, and now he posted a video saying, oh well, they aren't true, because anyone with half a brain can see through that video and realize that it's completely manipulated. But we had our own issues that were very concerning as a band of our caliber that tours a lot, that is nonstop touring and like, you know, really just gives our all. Like there is nothing else important in all of our lives except the band.
Yeah.
And then for someone to put other things ahead of that, that in my opinion weren't that important, it's like, okay, well, we weren't going to see eye to eye. But, you know, as far as the record, I mean, I'm just glad that, you know, it's got as much, you know, love. And like, I think because of what happened with the vocalist, that it made people kind of put their scope on the instrumentals, because then people were like, you know, didn't really want to hear this guy on the record, but they wanted to hear the album. So people started not, usually when you put out a deathcore record, everyone's like, oh, the vocals are amazing. The vocals are amazing. And then because what happened, people couldn't say that, because then it seemed like you were supporting someone that shouldn't be supported. So luckily, I mean, in a way, it kind of just gave the people who actually put in the hard work and time on the record our shine. And, you know, I'm kind of blessed for that, because like we did work really hard, and I think the instrumentals, you know, speak for itself. I mean,
for sure,
in my opinion, it was just a silver platter for whoever is a good vocalist to kind of come in and just do their job. And, you know, we're working on putting out the instrumental version of the record. You know, it's a bit late in the game, but, you know, I think people should still hear it, because me personally, I've only been listening to the instrumentals since everything went down, because I just don't want to listen to the guy on the album. And I still listen to those songs, and I'm like, okay, well, there's still something special here.
Yeah,
it's not just all in the vocals. So, you know, I'm definitely I'm excited for people to hear the instrumentals, because it's definitely going to be sick. And then, you know, we're working on, you know, doing a few things with the album to introduce someone. So, you know, definitely is still a lot to do with the record. I think it's like we gotta make it we gotta kind of shove all that shit in the past and like kind of give people something new to check out with the record. And then, you know, and Adam got a kidney stone while we were recording the record. You know, I was dealing with so much personal shit like the whole time, like, and just like the album in a way felt so cursed just from the start. So with that, we were like, all right, you know what, like, let's just move on. Let's just make some new music and fucking like just get moving. So, you know, in a way, I'm over it. I'm glad the record did well. I'm glad it's out. But I am so ready to put out something new, so that, you know, we don't have to associate anymore with that shit. So,
well, yeah, I can imagine, man. So I think it's pretty fitting as far as the name goes. You know what I'm saying? We're like, you know, you guys will get through it regardless of the bullshit. And you know, I think you guys, in a really, really tough decision, I think you guys made the right decision in releasing the album. You know, kind of like what you said, for what it's worth, it got people listening to it that felt like they had to listen to it, which, you know, I think from, if you're thinking about this in a business perspective, you know, as we have to do sometimes, that was a move. How hard of a decision was that for you guys? Like, was there a big kind of like rift in the group of like, I don't think we should put this out with this guy on it? And then was there a part of the group that said yeah, and was it kind of like a back and forth, or how did that go?
Well, because it happened at such a weird time where the industry is shut down. Like Christmas time, everyone sends that email out like, hey, not coming back until January 6th, you know?
That shit, before you even go on, I'm sorry, I just got to say, for anybody who's in it, for us as bands, that's the most frustrating time ever. Every fucking year, when everybody in the industry goes on vacation, and you're like, oh, sick. We're still a band. We're still doing shit. Like, but anyway, sorry.
No, and especially that time, because it all happened the day before Christmas Eve. It happened December 23rd.
Wow.
And like, so all this shit happens, and it's like, all right, fuck. The internet's running wild for days and days and days, weeks. And, you know, Adam, my guitar player, and I, you know, we're just, and our other guitar player were just kind of like, dude, like, we don't know what the fuck to do. Like, we don't know what the label wants to do. Like, I'm assuming, because the album's out in a month, that CDs and vinyl are printed, and like, you can't take that back. Like, so, you know, at first it was very much so like, we're not putting the record out. And then talking to the label, they kind of explained why we should put the record out, and just kind of just being like, hey, it is what it is. Like, it sucks. We're good. Because it was really hard to hype up a record that has like, you know, the whole wording of everything had to be different. Like, the album came out and it was like, you know, sorry this shit happened. Like, I hope you could still listen to it, other than, this is the best record you ever fucking heard. Like, we worked so hard on it. Like, check this shit out. So yeah, and then we had to like release another music video with him in it because it just had him in it, and it's like, and then it all just seemed, it was, I don't think anyone has dealt with a situation like that where it's like you kicked out the vocalist, but you still got to put out the record with him, and like it was just like there was no like plan, like no one's been like, yeah, we went through this before, this is how we're gonna do it. It was like something we kind of had to make up on the spot.
Yeah,
and I think we navigated it as well as we could.
I think so too, man.
Obviously there's still people mad, like we'd post the video, people are like, why are you posting with this guy? Oh, if he's not in the band, it's that. So it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, we spent $4K on this video. I look good in the video. I want people to see me, like, personally.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm just like, what are we gonna do? So it was definitely like, if I knew this virus was gonna hit as hard as it was gonna hit, which nobody knew in January,
yeah,
I might have, said, let's just wait, because the pressure to put the record out was so that we didn't have another stale year of not touring, trying to find a vocalist, trying to re-record it, trying to put the record out again, and so on and so forth. But now it's like, all right, we put out the record, now we can't even tour anyway. So everything happens for a reason. But like, if I knew the virus was going to happen like that, and like, we weren't going to be able to tour anyway, I would have fucking waited and just never put it out with the guy. But it's a plagued release, so to say. Like, it's very like, but I think it's monumental. Like, as much as I don't want to be related to any of that negativity, people will always hear this record and remember that crazy time and bullshit. So, it is what it is. Like, I got to just kind of put that past me and just go, well, I'm still here. I'm a good person. Adam's a good person.
Yeah.
My other guitar player, Andrew's a good person. And we're all going to, like, push through this. And, like, I'm just glad everyone had our backs, because shit like that will, regardless of anyone else in the band has done anything wrong, it could break a band and completely ruin them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, you guys, I think, handled this as well as anybody possibly could have in that kind of crazy ass situation. I try and put myself in your guys' shoes, and honestly, like, don't know like how I would have personally maneuvered it, and it's super stressful. And like, for anybody watching, listening who doesn't know, changing your vocalist in your band by itself is a crazy, stressful, really risky endeavor. So, it's just a testament to the music, I feel like, for, you guys to have a transition with Tom, to you guys to have a transition with this guy, and, still have, again, people having your backs, still have people hungry for more, enjoying the record. So, I hope you guys know that it's a testament to how good the music is and to how much people really fucking love your band,
Nah, I respect that. And again, anyone watching, anyone who's not watching, I mean, I have all the most love and respect for anyone that has gotten us through this time, because definitely was one of those times where I really felt the support from people, getting messages, people saying very nice things about the rest of us in the band. So it definitely didn't seem like a wasted effort by putting the record out, because it still showed our musicianship, and it definitely our best work to date. So, I just hope people know that through all this shit, we're not going to take a back seat and, level down from here. Like, it's only up from here. Like, the new guy we have, I believe, is much more capable, much more talented, much more personable, like a much more like aligned with the rest of us type guy.
Awesome.
With the other guy, it seemed like him and us. It wasn't like the band.
Right.
So this feels more like a band chemistry going forward. And I think that's just gonna bring people closer to us, because that's what we've always pushed. We don't want to hate the people we're in a band with. And like,
of course.
I think that, like, has like a weird kind of just internal, like, like just a natural like vibe when you can see people really like each other. Like, people just want to be a part of that. When people are very like closed off, you're like, can't really feel connected with it. So yeah, I just think it'll bring a deeper connection with our fans, like, going forward.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing who the new guy is. I know you guys are gonna get somebody fucking crushing. And, I'm looking forward to it. So I'll obviously keep my eyes peeled, and, myself and the Abiotic boys, we got your back, and we'll push and do the thing. So,
all day.
So let's talk a little bit about, you coming up drumming, man. So how did drumming become a thing in your world? What were you listening to, and what were some of your like early influences and shit to get you into, I guess, the more extreme drumming?
Shit. I mean, I think at an early age, I always knew I wanted to like be like, it's funny just because my father worked for Gibson Guitars. He was arts relations for Gibson Guitars for 25 years.
What?
So,
I didn't know that.
I was born and bred into this world. I would go, he had me and my brother on the weekends. That's when most shows go down. So we'd go to his house and it's like, hey, we got to go see. I mean, we'd go see Les Paul like play at the club
Dude.
all the time. We'd go see bands like, I mean, like, dude, like Static X, like a big new metal times back then, like going to see Static X, going to see Slayer, going to Ozfest. Like, and I remember we went to Ozfest like 99, 2000, 2001. And at that time, I'm 6, 7, and 8 years old. So,
Wow.
like, and just meeting these people, like, Godsmack and shit like that. Like, and they were always like so cool to me. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this little kid's here, bummer. Like, they would like invite me on the bus, get me something to drink, ask me about, and my brother, and of course my dad. I was already playing drums at that time. I
Oh,
started
sick.
playing when I was, I mean, I picked up sticks when I was like 4 years old, 5 years
Damn,
old,
dude.
and then just I got lessons when I was 7, and like I kind of already had like a lot of like just prodigy elements to myself, where it was just like, okay, I can already play, AC/DC beat. Like first lesson I walked in, the guy's like, yo, like we skipped 2 years of lessons with this kid, so let's just get straight to it. So I grew up playing a lot of like just from the book stuff, a lot of like funk, and I'd bring in like like there'd be that time in the lesson, I'll bring in something you want to learn. I'd bring in like Blink-182 songs to
Yeah.
learn and like shit like that. But then I remember Slayer put out like remasters of the whole record, and like my one thing my dad would do is when he pick us up, there's like a famous record store by me called Vintage Vinyl,
Yep.
and we every time he picked me up, we'd shoot right there before we go back to New York City, and just buy a bunch of shit. I remember he bought like every fucking Slayer record that was remastered on CD, and then at that time, I'm listening to fucking like Crazy Town and like fucking Cold Chamber and like all this shit, and like my
Yeah.
dad was like. He wasn't bummed about Cold Chamber. He was pretty
Yeah.
bummed about Crazy Town, but he kind of was just like, "Hey, yo, go listen to this. Like, do yourself a favor. Dave Lombardo's a god." And I remember I heard
Yeah.
Slayer, Rain and Blood, first time. I'm like, "Shit, like this is dope." And then I started taking my way into like more extreme death metal and getting a little more edgy, like listening to Hatebreed, like Perseverance was like my shit when I was a kid.
Nice.
So, but like I never played that style because I didn't think I was capable, like for a long time. Like up until I joined Lorna Shore, like I was in pop punk bands. I was in like shitty wannabe Rise Core, Dance Gavin Dance, like Dead Wears Prada type bands, like just the whole scene here, the whole nine shit. And when I joined Lorna, it was like a quick thing. Like it was on a Monday. I was chilling with Tom because we were friends and we would just smoke weed together all the time. And he's
Yeah.
like, dude, our fucking drummer just quit. I'm like, dude, that sucks. Like that dude was mad good. He's like, yeah, we got a show Friday, which was actually my birthday. And I was like, damn, that sucks. And he's like, yo, you got a drum set at your house. Like, why don't you play? And I was like, I can't play this shit. And he's like, dude, you can. I promise you, you can. Just do me a favor as a friend and like try your hardest. So I remember I was still in high school. I was still, I think I was like a senior at that time. And I just spent that whole week sitting in school, like listening to the shit, like getting yelled at for listening to music in class. But I was like, yo, like this is more important than what's going on in front of me type shit. And then I remember I played that show. It went well. Not amazing, but it went well. Enough that they let me keep playing.
Where was it at?
And then it was at like a church in
Oh
Jersey
shit.
somewhere with just a bunch of local bands. Like, but then they had a weekender, or no, it was like a week and a half tour booked in like a month from then. And I was like, shit. And when you leave school for a week and a half, it's almost like you might as well not come back. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's just like, so I remember I approached my school, like, hey, like, I got this opportunity. And they're like, all right, well, if you take this time off, like, you're not going to be able to graduate. You're not, I was like, there's no other way. Like, I can't just do my work on the road. I can't just, like, make it up. Cause I wasn't a bad student. Like, I had my things here and there, but grades were always good.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, like there's no way that you're gonna be able to do this and do that, so you got to make a decision. And I was like, all right, well then I guess I'm never coming back. So I never went back to school after that. I dropped out my senior year with like 5 months left, never graduated.
Damn.
And then
How did your folks feel about that with like the background that your dad has and everything, like, but at the same time school and shit. So how did he handle that decision?
well, my parents are split up, so they don't have contact with each other. They just don't talk to each other much.
Yep.
But my mother was a high school dropout. My dad was a high school dropout. I don't think they've seen that for me, and probably, no parent just goes, well, my kid's going to drop out of high school. It's fine.
Right.
So I think it just was like a decision. Like my mother was just more scared that like I was making the right decision.
Yeah.
But, and I hid it from her for a long time. I would literally wake up at 7 a.m., go to school, but I would just go to my friend's house, and my one friend's mom like knew what I was doing, and she would let me in the house. She would let me in the house. She would let me go back to sleep until my one buddy who graduated wake up. I mean, him would hang out all day, and then 2:30, 3 o'clock comes. I would just go back home and act like I went to school. And then one day I kind of had to come clean, like, hey, like I haven't been going to school for like 2 months now. So yeah, it was rough telling my mom, just because like, she had a big expectation, but my father obviously was like, hey, whatever, I support you, whatever you want to do. So
yeah,
definitely I'm lucky to have very supporting parents when it comes to the music stuff, because I can understand if you don't, you can get, it only leads to just doubt and a lot of shit that like you don't need when you're already working towards such a, what people see as impossible goal. Like,
right.
I would never even believe if someone told me that I would be in the position I'm in right now with just the amount of followers I have, like, people giving a shit about me playing drums. I mean, I get surprised every day just when I post something that people care, like even at this stage, because like I'm very humble. So I'm like, I posted a drum video yesterday. I'm like, all right, whatever, and people were loving it. People were like, oh, so stoked, like asking me questions. So I'm like, all right, cool. So it's cool to just see that the platform has naturally grown to a point where it's like, I'm still the same guy I was 5-6 years ago. Like it's never gonna change. Like no amount of money, unless I got some fucking Rock Nation deal and me and Jay-Z are on stage together. Maybe I'll act like I don't know everybody that I know, but that's not gonna really happen. So, and even if it did, I still couldn't see myself doing that. So I'm just glad that I've stayed true, and like everyone I know can still associate me with being the same person, because in reality, like I ain't shit. I'm just very thankful to be where I'm at and like have people give a shit about what I'm doing. So, and I try to not put that pressure on me, because then you got expectations. I just leave it at whatever. You fuck with me, you fuck with me. If you don't, like, someone else will. So.
Yeah. No, that's a good mentality to have, because a lot of shit can get to your head, and then you can put that pressure on yourself. You can start losing the real people in your life, and then you start bringing in just the fucking yes people around you, and those are the only people that want something from you, and then as soon as you can't give it to them, they ghost, and those aren't the kind of motherfuckers you need around. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I keep it with my same people that have been there. So.
Word. So what are some of like your favorite shows or like tours you guys have done so far in the career? What are like some big standout moments for you?
Shit. I mean, the first tour we ever did was a big shock, because it was like we went from just playing VFWs in our hometown and like our home state rather, and like various like tri-state things, and like we never made it out west, and then all of a sudden one day it's like, yo, you're going to tour with Carnifex it starts in San Diego on Friday, so you got to pack your shit up right now and leave. I was like, holy shit. And it was like Carnifex, I Declare War. I'm like, holy shit. Like, and I was living by myself at the time with like a girlfriend and my best friend. I'm like, and it was nerve-wracking. I remember I had a panic attack leaving. I was like, I can't even believe this is real. Like, there's no way this is real. Like, so the whole drive there, we're hyping each other up. Like, yo, man, it's gonna be, we're gonna crush everyone. I declare who, fucking, we're gonna crush this shit. And I remember we showed up to the first show, and I never played with triggers in my whole life. I remember I bought them because I was like, I need them because I Declare War. I want to be up there with those people. So I didn't know anything about that shit, and like,
dude, triggers is cheating, like, bro. Come on,
it's cheating, and it's fucking a headache, man. But I remember I showed up, and like it was just straight up like misfiring like a motherfucker. Like no. the click tracks were wired backwards. The clicks coming out the front of the PA. We're playing Soma San Diego, and I remember I literally cried. I got off stage, I cried. I was like,
oh fuck.
We drove all the way here for this, but like it was so. But that humbled me so much, because everyone at that show was like, dude, that was the sickest thing I ever fucking seen. I've been waiting for you guys to come out west. Like, this has been the best day of my life. And like, dude, that tour, for a first tour for a band, like, we killed it that tour. Like, and people were so excited to see us. So like, in a way, that was like one of the worst shows, but the best as far as like experience and like realizing like, okay, it's not like not like when you drive from your house to go play a show. Like, you just want to play good. You don't give a fuck. You're already seeing these people 100 times. It's like playing in front of a new crowd, people that are just excited. Like, it just showed me like what touring's about. It's like, all right, it's not about me. I could fuck up on stage and not be so hard on myself, because as long as it's not exponential and like I fucking like just stop playing,
Yeah.
like people are gonna enjoy it as long as they like your band. So that was humbling. Um, Definitely our first European tour, Never Say Die, 2 years ago. I mean, that was just the first show we played was like sold out, and just got off a plane, and we sat in traffic because it just like shut down on the highway. I remember I took a nap because we were so jet lagged,
Fuck.
and I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, it's 6 o'clock. Like and the bus was stopped, so I figured we were at the show, and I go downstairs and like do some Chelsea Grin, and I'm like, nah, dude, like we're stuck here, like we're late for the show, and I'm like,
Fuck.
fuck. So that like, yo, when you get to the show, like Kublai Khan's playing right now, and they were supposed to be like two bands above us. Like Kublai Khan's playing now. As soon as you get to the show, you got to set your shit up and play. I'm like, oh fuck. So like as soon as we walk in the door, it's like running to the fucking stage, literally running to an empty stage, setting up and playing, and it was like so many nerves flying through the system. I'm like, dude, and the show was immaculate. Like it was such a good time. We had a great time afterwards. So yeah, first European. I mean, anyone can relate. Like when you play somewhere out, like it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And then I think I'll cap it off with honestly like my favorite show that we've ever played was kind of like a weird time because on that European tour, one of my best friends, who was also my tattoo artist, passed away.
Oh fuck.
And we came home, and I and that whole last week of that tour, like I just like could not snap out of it. I was missing his funeral, I was missing his wake, like just going through like all the circles in my head. And then I get home and like it's just like, oh, like my boy's not even around and shit, like.
Yeah.
And our buddies put together a benefit show, and they're like, yo, like I know Lorna's big, but like would you guys want to play like this benefit show? I'm like, absolutely. Like there's no way I'm not going to play the show, because he knew me, he knew Tom, he knew Adam.
Yep.
Like he was a close friend. So I was like, yeah, we'll play this show for free, like whatever I got to do. So it was just a room packed to the brim of all of our friends, a couple random just only Lorna Shore fans, and like all my friends' bands like reunited to play that show that haven't played shows in God knows how long.
That's dope.
And like we just, dude, like I remember we just put our heart and soul into that performance, and like playing on a floor show for the first time in like 4 years, and like, and everyone in the crowd was just like blown away, because like a lot of those people haven't seen us play since we blew up. So it's like it was just a really amazing night, just like play in front of our friends, do it for a good cause for my friend, and like just really like immortalize that whole moment and his life like with that. Because I mean, I give him all the credit for being where I am now, because he was the first guy I knew to like drop out of high school, start tattooing. He met Upon a Burning Body randomly at like a Guitar Center, ended up inviting him back to his house to tattoo him. He ended up tattooing Danny's hand, and that's the one cover of the record. It's like the snake, like red, white, and green. Like that's the tattoo my boy did. And then he went on tour with Upon a Burning Body. They took him on to like just be a tattoo artist. He was the first person I knew out of my friends to go on a tour. And then like he showed Upon a Burning Body Lorna Shore. Upon a Burning Body brought Lorna Shore on like a 4 or 5 day tour. So it's like he was always pumping us to everyone he knew. So like even now, till this day, like I'll always reference him as being the guy that tell me. And anytime I get a tattoo, like I was like 17, 18 years old getting my fucking hands tattooed. He's like man, like he's like, you got nothing to lose. You're gonna be a rock star. Like I'm gonna make you look like a rock star until you become one. And I'm like, we just make that joke, like, well, let's get there. So, it's good that I still keep that close to my heart, and just I'll never forget just him telling me like, yo, you're gonna make it. Like always supporting the band. So that was definitely an amazing show, because I was in. It's probably one of the only shows I ever like cried while playing. Like just like, but like. That energy just I mean, it's like it's primal, man. It just was all laid out, and like as soon as we stopped playing, like everyone just got to drinking, got to hanging out, and like it was a great night. So definitely one of my favorite shows we ever did.
Dude, that's amazing to hear, man. Like, I've done 25 of these and haven't heard an answer like as heartfelt as that one. So,
sorry to get heavy on you.
No, that's okay, dude. That's what I like doing about this, because how long have we known each other, and we haven't had a deep ass conversation like this before, So, rest in peace to the homie, and awesome to hear that he had your back like that, like. It's hard to do what we do now, having have somebody have your back like that and gas you up and really fucking like be in your corner, you know what I mean? And
he's still there, you know what I mean? I believe in that heavily, so I think I could thank him for getting us through those tough times, and just keeping my energy there, because I always just think about it in the back of my mind, like if this dude could see where we're at now, like he would not even believe it. Like playing with his favorite band, Amur. Like, you know what I mean? Like his favorite band was Amur growing up, and like I've done 2 tours just being their crew member. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
no
So
shit.
it's like, and like touring has just led me down that path of like meeting so many great people, like, you know, including yourself. So it's like,
Oh,
you
thanks,
know,
man.
definitely very blessed, man. Very blessed.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. So any tips for up and coming drummers trying to do the thing, and you know, even maybe some touring tips too. Like obviously, if you play drums, set your cymbals up on stage. Everybody loves that shit.
Everyone loves that. Yeah, bring the biggest kit you can have. Make sure, yeah, you just do everything that what people tell you don't do, just do
Yeah,
it.
you only need one
Nah,
pair of sticks. You're all good.
yeah, only need one. It's just if you don't got another pair, just ask another drummer playing the show for a pair.
Don't bring a kick
He'll
drum.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, don't even bring your drums. Just ask to play
You
someone else. Like they'll be so happy to let you use them. Nah, tips. As far as just drumming wise, I mean, you know, people ask me all the time, like, you know, how did you get so fast? How did you, you know, start doing these techniques and stuff? And I just tell people, I'm sure you can relate on guitar. It's like this shit does not happen. You know, you could buy whatever pick, whatever drumstick, whatever drum pedal, whatever effects pedal. It's like that's not going to make you a better player. Those are just tools to, you know, find your sound, and like, you know, a technique is just a way to accomplish a certain, like,
Yep.
you know, style of playing. So it's like you got to really just suck at that fucking thing for so long, and just and be happy sucking for a good long time. Like some people are natural learners and bless them, but me personally, I learn pretty naturally, but like I do have to work at least with the fast stuff because it's very physical. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not going to be able to blast 280 the first time you sit on a kit. Like,
Right.
so just I tell people just start off slow. And it might sound dumb to you, but who's watching? You're in your fucking room. Like, who are you
Yep.
trying to impress? Like yourself, or are you trying to get better? So I tell people just put your ego aside, just, you know, suck as hard as you can for a while, and like, and also like what I've learned to do now recently is like film yourself.
Yeah.
Like film, and like don't film like you like big room, like just strictly film like your hands, like
Yep.
your feet, and then go watch it and see, like, because you'll see things you're doing that you won't even notice. I'm sure you do that with guitar. Like,
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
like, oh, why the fuck's my finger like that all the time? So it's
Exactly.
like, or even when I'm playing, I'm like, dude, I don't even use my pinkies. Like on my hands are all fucking cockeyed. It's like, so yeah, like I think filming yourself does well, and if someone has the capabilities to record themselves, that definitely helps a lot. You could just see how like on the grid you are, and like, yeah, your level of playing, like if you fall off, like while you do certain parts. So yeah, it's just, you know, really putting your whole playing and your whole everything under a microscope, and just going like, all right, well, there's a lot going on in these moments that I'm playing. Let's figure out how I can achieve the muscle memory I need to be able to do this flawlessly without even secondhand thinking it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
me, I'm not at that point where I'm at like the best I could. Like, I think I'm the best drummer I am right now, but
Yeah.
like there's still that ceiling will never be hit. I mean,
For sure.
there's robots out there. I'm scared of them. I don't think they're human. Like we got John Longstrength out there. We got,
Yeah.
you know, even my boy Aaron Stacconner. I mean, dude, that guy has gotten so good over the years,
So
but it's
good,
because
dude.
he fucking practices so
Mhm.
much. So it's like you can't skip that shit. Like, practice does make perfect, and if you practice a lot and you don't see any results, then you might have to switch up your regimen and like kind of, you know, figure out what you're doing wrong, because like if you do practice the right way, you will achieve those goals. So definitely just those things. And then as far as touring, I mean, I would just say just bring out what you need.
Yep.
Don't bring 2 kicks. Don't bring too many cymbals. Whatever you need that you feel like setting up every day, do it. Don't put in your head, well, someone will help me bring this on stage. No, there's going to be times where the equipment's over there, the stage is through there. You got to bring it through the crowd, whatever it might be, especially when you're a smaller band.
Yep.
You know, just bring what you know you need. Have spares. You know, have backups of every possible thing you could, because everything and anything will go wrong.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like I bring 2 kick drum pedals out. Like I know I've had situations on stage, yeah, the kick drum pedal's not working. I got to call over fucking Billy Bob to bring me his fucking double pedal for a couple songs. It's like,
Yep.
it's hard, you know, it's hard to anticipate those moments. So just, yeah, be as like anticipate things are gonna go wrong, and just, you know, bring that shit out. And like, yeah, like, I don't know. Don't bring your most expensive shit out on tour if you are like that kind of person that doesn't want things
Facts.
to get ruined, because things will get ruined.
Yep.
If you have the with your $5,000 TW drum set and it's getting thrown in the trailer by your guitar player, well, that's kind of the territory it is. Unless you're going to put it in yourself every day or put it in a stainless steel box, it just happens. So
yeah,
you have equipment because things will break and you will be upset. I've been there.
All right, we got you frozen a little bit, so let's see if we got you back. All right, cool. Yeah, cool. I think that's some fucking super solid advice, dude. So yeah, if you're a drummer, you're trying to do the thing, follow all of Austin's advice, and you'll be in as sick a band as Lorna Shore. Guaranteed or your money back.
Guaranteed or your money back.
Sick. So you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Big surprise. So JB Betts says Austin has a huge piece. I know JB a long time.
Thanks, JB. I love you too, buddy.
JB's the man.
One of my favorites.
We got a question from Twitch. So Guyer Beetle 39 says, "What's your favorite song to play live?"
Well, luckily in Europe we did get to play some of the new stuff live, nice. And like it's not just me saying I like playing the new stuff live, but like the way those songs were written was made for a bigger stage, was made for more of like a live purpose. So surprisingly, Immortal going into the tour, I was like, shit, this song is gonna be hard. Like it's a 6-minute song, like it's gonna suck. But live it goes by fast, and like just the parts are all really fun to play.
Dope.
So I would definitely just give it to Immortal. I mean, I just feel so sick up there when that intro kicks in. I'm like, I'm ready to just take on the fucking world. So
nice.
Definitely want to get back on the road so I can fucking keep feeling like I'm sickest dude ever on the stage, like ripping up blast beats, you know.
Dude, it's such a good song too, man. It's so goddamn catchy.
Thank you, man.
The melodies and like obviously you guys do the heavy so well. Like we're not doing as many breakdowns and shit now because of bands like you that are like, you guys fucking got that shit. You guys do it the best. Like we can't compete anymore. So Devin says Immortal's such a massive record. Flesh Coffin was a massive influence on me, and Immortal was what set off my project, and it is, in my opinion, the best album written for deathcore. The musicianship and pure emotion is untouched. So thank you for this gift.
I already know that's my boy Devin the Embers, so definitely anyone watching, go check out my boy Devin because he's definitely got some sick shit coming. He's very talented young vocalist. He's got some cool dudes in his band. He has a solo thing. One of my buddies, Aaron from Jersey, writes the tunes for, and it's if you haven't checked it out, to be honest with you, you kind of have to because it's fucking obnoxious. Like it's fucking obnoxious. Like yeah, go check out my boy Devin the Embers, man. He's sick.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, definitely send that shit to me. And
I will.
And I'll peep it. Dude, thank you so much for fucking coming on. Really appreciate it. So if you want to do a little parting shot where people can follow you and find the band.
Yeah. My social media is all just my name. If you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, it's just at Austin Archey with an underscore. Facebook, it's just my name, Austin Archey. And then, if anyone wants to follow my latest endeavor with my clothing brand, you can find my clothing brand in my bio, but it's called Love Crime Supply Co. I just make really weird, quirky shit. I got a new line coming. We just did a Black Lives Matter shirt, which raised actually more money than I thought it was going to for a small brand. So
awesome.
Got a lot of shit on that front coming, especially because music is kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to keep up and wants some new shit to wear around the house because you can't go out and wear it, just holler at me and follow the page, and that's it.
That's me. Yeah, I got you. I'm definitely gonna order something. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, and I didn't know that. So definitely go check out. It's called Love Is a Crime.
That is like what I put on shirts, but it's called Love Crime Supply Co.
Okay, cool.
Love Crime Supply Co. But that's my slogan.
All right. Nah, I can dig it. All right, sick, man. Well, again, thank you fucking so much for coming on, dude. Hopefully shows come back and we can get back to it together and in some kind of capacity. So obviously holler at your boy and we got a new record coming out, so it'll be some good times. And again, just can't say enough good things, man, to hear that you're doing well, that everybody's feeling better, that everybody's recovered from all the bullshit, and you're in a good place. And fucking, I love you, and I hope to be able to fucking chill with you soon, man.
Yeah, I love you too, brother. Looking forward to that new Abiotic Slam. So
hell yeah, it's coming.
Definitely give me a peek whenever you feel like it. Whenever you're confident, I'll be here.
I got you. I'm really bad at like keeping shit under wraps, so like I'm gonna send you some shit tonight probably. So
perfect. That's what I wanted.
All right, brother. Take care, and we'll catch up soon, man.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Peace out, man.
All right, everybody, thanks for hanging. So now we've got our second guest of the evening who has been patiently waiting in the digital wings, if you will. Awesome homie, shredder extraordinaire, Ando. Ando, what is good, my dude?
Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for your patience. I know, hopefully you.
That was really Austin's such a cool guy, man. He's so awesome.
Austin's cool as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome to be able to interview him, and it's great to see like people that are humble and that are talented and that you've seen come up, be doing so well, and it's fucking awesome. So Can't say enough good things about him and his band.
Yes. So. And Lorna Shore, dude. Like I remember when they first came out, I probably was a teenager around that time, and it was insane. It was really insane. So
yeah,
great.
Those dudes are not a joke, and I'm looking forward to seeing where where they go from here. So and hopefully when shit comes back. But dude, what's going on with you, man? How have you been? What's the quarantine situation been like for you?
Dude, honestly, a lot has happened these past couple of months. I actually moved. I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I grew up in the San Fernando Valley area, but I moved to Altadena probably like a month ago. Yeah, I would say about a month ago, and honestly, a lot of stuff got canceled. I was supposed to play up in Tennessee at the Pelham Caverns with Chan and this band called Papadosio and all that stuff that got canceled.
Yeah.
That was supposed to lead into a tour. So pretty much like I've been sitting on my ass just writing a shit ton of music and just trying to like wrap my head around like all of this craziness, started going to therapy.
Okay, good, man.
Yeah, started going to therapy. Then, trying to get all the self-care stuff going.
Yeah, super important.
Yes. This year has been definitely a test for everyone. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, in more ways than one, man. So I'm glad to see that that you're open about it, which not a lot of people are, and it's helpful especially for people, and we'll just say guys, but I'm generalizing genders. For people to see that it's okay to talk about. It's okay to get that help that you need if you feel like you need it. It's okay. It's not taboo. It's not a sign of weakness or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh, it isn't, man. It's a very important topic, and which is why I love metal so much, because I feel like metal music as a whole is very emotional and powerful.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, I would say it's very therapeutic. And yeah, man, it's just really important. The negative stigma needs to go away.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I'm here in Altadena. This is actually the first time I've ever had my own room. I've never had my own room.
Word, coming up. So, congratulations, dude.
Yeah, I have like my entire studio set up here is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good, and like I'm sure the musical ideas are flowing, just when you get into a new environment, you get into your own kind of spot, you know what I mean?
Yes, man. Like I have grown so much as a musician and as a person since like I've had like my own space. And luckily, like before I moved here, I stayed over my buddy's house for like 2 months, like writing my new album.
Nice.
He's basically mixing it. I've mixed like pretty much all of my other releases, but I really wanted to focus on like the creative aspects of this project that I'm working on right now. So like just having your own space and kind of just like being alone, it helps so much with the creative process.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
like you also do things that you wouldn't think you would do, you know, and it's kind of like because you just have your own personal space and you just like, you know, even the whole singing thing, like there's gonna be singing on my new album. I would have never started singing, man, if I didn't have my own like space, you know.
Yeah. Like Austin said, to be able to like, you know, not be so great for a little while and be able to like kind of work out those things on your own, not have to worry about somebody listening to you.
Yes.
I feel that. I feel that 100%.
I felt that when you said that too. I was like, oh shit, like, that's hella true.
Big shout out to my wife for fucking listening to me play the same shit for 5 hours and, you know, not giving me shit when I suck for a long ass time. Yeah.
Your wife, dude. Hey.
That's what's up, dude. Though glad to hear that you know you're in a better spot and you know you're pumping out the tunes, and you know what a better time to do that than now. You know, it's for me anyway. Like that's kind of what spawned this podcast. That's what's spawned you know, a few other things that I've got going on of just like trying to take advantage of the time. It's also like, to be honest, like an unhealthy kind of way that I deal with stress. I just like, however I can put as much shit on my plate as I can when I'm in a stress position to like distract myself, I kind of do, which again, it's to a fault for sure. But you know, if you can, I feel like if you can help distract yourself a little bit, you're not really supposed to, you're supposed to be in the moment. You're supposed to be, you know, but I think Corona is kind of an extenuating circumstance in that whole shit. So like distract yourself a little bit. Don't, you know, like we were talking, don't drink yourself stupid, but you know, try and find a hobby, try and like, you know, do something while you're kind of forced into this situation, you know?
Yeah, this is the perfect time. Also, like, I try to tell people to not beat themselves up because, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, dude. Like, people are sick, people are losing their jobs. Like, this isn't the time to just, like, beat yourself up. And just
agreed, yeah.
You know, like, this is the time to kind of just, like, it's like healing, but also kind of like trying to survive. You're trying to survive right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a very, very important thing, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, do what it takes for you to survive and get through it. I'm 100% on board with that as well. Like, don't put pressure on yourself. Like if you're not doing something, freaking yourself out because you're not doing something and you should be. Like, if not doing something is what's getting you through this, fucking don't do nothing. Like, just get through it. That's what works for me. Because if I don't do nothing, that's when I'll be fucking going crazy. But dude, I you know, just want to say, you know, how much I love your sound and love like how unique it is. You know, it's you've got your own thing going, I feel like, and I love the infusion, you know, on your Ando San project. I know you got some other shit going on, but on your Ando San project, love the infusion of the hip hop and the guitar work. I'm obviously a big fan of guitar work. I'm a big fan of hip hop too for folks that don't know. And I was wondering like when somebody was going to do it, you know what I mean? and it's dope. It's mad fucking cool. And you were one of the first guys too that I saw, you know, shredding on an Ormsby, which kind of inspired me to go that route for as long as I did. So tell me a little bit about like how you started developing your approach, and how you started getting into the slapping and all that shit, which again, fucking all the props to you because I just cannot do that shit, dude. I just can't do it. So, how did you get into it?
All right. Yeah, man. It's very interesting. Like, I pretty much have the same background. I was actually just raised around hip hop, you know, and my first genre that I fell in love with was metal. Like, okay. Before I played guitar, I was a death metal vocalist in a band called Encryption.
Oh, no shit.
when I was like 13. But like, I was also raised around like hip hop. Like, my brother-in-law rapped with Nate Dogg.
Word? Oh shit.
So, yeah, I used to see Nate Dogg all the time, man. And
damn,
my
so
cousin
sick.
done stuff with Wu-Tang, and you know, and I was brought up on it.
Yeah.
So I guess pretty much when I got older, I started to realize, like, damn, like I'm so glad that I was raised around such like a open book of just genres.
Yeah.
Like even when my dad was a bass player. My dad kind of was like a funk bass player.
Sick.
And so like I was just I basically when I got older I was like I really want to try to absorb all of these genres into one thing, because I also think that like metal or rock or anything, it has a lot of similarities with hip hop.
Yep.
And I feel like at this moment in time, no one's really have like tapped into it yet.
Yeah.
Like it's been done, but it hasn't like been done to the point where it's like the sound has been cultivated. So like I started Ando San as kind of like a math rock project.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started out as like a math rock project, and I was already producing beats on the side, and I was shit at it, by the way. Like
I doubt that.
I spent like a couple of years trying to like hone like the whole production side, the beat making side.
It's hard, man.
Of that music. Yeah, it's really tough. It is tough, man. But I finally got to the point where I got really comfortable with it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to implement like thumping with this. Like I haven't heard anyone do that yet. Like
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. So that's when I came out with my my EP Vitality, and that at that time, I mean even now, no one knows who the fuck I am.
Hey, you're doing it, man. You're doing it though.
Yeah. It's just it's a grind. You know what I mean? And Vitality actually got like a good. A lot of people liked it. And that kind of opened up the doors for me. And then like I got on Hornsby, and from there on, it's just kind of been like it's just been going up. It's really crazy. And I know you mentioned the whole thumping thing, so I forgot to mention that I was also a bass player before.
Oh, that helps. That helps.
Yeah, I was a bass player before. But the weird thing was I wasn't doing any thumping on the bass. I was only doing like slapping stuff.
Yeah.
So then after that, like when I started playing guitar, the only reason I started playing guitar was because of Animals as Leaders.
Right.
Like
okay.
Tosin blew my fucking mind.
Yep.
I was just like, dude, what's like? It was insane.
Oh,
so that made me want to pick up a guitar and learn the technique.
That's what's up.
So that's how all that happened. And from there on, I was just like kind of I've been thumping for like 5 years now. So I've been doing it for a while.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, it was funny you mentioned you're a bass player. I know you said you weren't doing the thumping, but like I was just having a conversation with my band's bass player, Killian. Like,
Killian's amazing, dude.
He's super sick, and so he was at my place last week, social distancing, tracking our new record.
I saw that picture.
and he had recently done like a video of some Animals as Leaders, on guitar, like some slapping, plucking section, the crazy shit that Tosin does, and I think I commented on the video. I was like, dude, I can't do this shit. This shit's impossible. And he was like, oh, I got you. Like, when I come over, I'll show you how to do it. It's so easy. It's so easy. And he came and he showed me, and I was just like, dude, the shit is not so easy. All right. Like, come on, man. It is not so easy. I just, again, huge props to anybody that can do that shit. I know it's, again, the whole thing. You got to practice. You got to suck at it for a while. I don't know. It's just like a brain block for me I think I can get the downward motion going. It's like, even with guitar, like upstrokes are kind of a challenge for me. So like it's the up stroke on a thump that's like the challenge for me. And
so funny thing about that technique was for like 3 years I was doing it wrong.
Yeah. Shit.
So then like I had to relearn it.
Yeah.
And kind of like really pay attention. I remember Austin was talking about like kind of like looking at all the like little things with your playing.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's kind of like thumping is a very, very, I guess, technical technique.
Yeah.
In a sense, because like all the little maneuvers that you do will affect the sound in the way that where it's going to sound like dynamically different. It's just like drumming almost.
Yeah.
It's just like drumming. And like the whole thing, like when you're talking about upstrokes, like upstrokes is really hard part of the technique to kind of get over.
Yep.
And also the kind of like get the note to come out.
Yeah.
That's the tough part as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and even like once I feel like you have to kind of like get upstrokes pretty good. And after that, that's when you can kind of like do really clean triplets and stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the triplets clean, then you're gonna like what I see happen. What I see that happens a lot is just like there's a ton of like dead notes that happen in between the upstroke and the pluck.
Right.
If you get what I mean.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. Anyway, getting ultra technical for the folks watching, listening that don't play guitar, but my bad for asking for a lesson here in front of everybody. That's killer though. So how did your family feel about you getting into metal? So just similarly as well, I grew up in a Hispanic household, and I grew up with young parents too in Miami, Florida. So my parents were 20 years old when they had me. So they were all about the 80s and 90s, like pop music. I was listening to a lot of hip hop and dance music and shit like that when I was young. And then my mom would be putting like salsa on Sundays when she was cleaning and shit like that. So when I started listening to metal, I was the only person in my giant family listening to metal, and people were not fucking with it.
God, bro, I feel you, man. I'm pretty much like the black sheep in my family, I would say. No one was fucking with it, especially like I remember. So this is a new Mayhem shirt that I have.
Shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I got this. I got the same album, De Mysterious Dom Stop the Knots, when I was 15 years old. My mom burned it.
Damn. Oh shit.
I remember, dude. I used to collect metal tees, and my mom made me give them all away. I had at least like 50 metal band T-shirts, and then I had to give away like. Also, around that time, it was extremely hard to find Bloodbath shirts.
Oh shit!
I fucking loved Bloodbath when I was a teenager. I still do, but like, dude, it was really hard.
That's fucked.
And then going back, going back to what Austin was saying, like, dude, I didn't finish high school either. I sort of like, I was kind of like in a really toxic environment when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really finish high school because of just like the place where I was living at. So I had to move in with my sister, and then that was when I started, dabbling with music, and I really wanted to try to like, push it forward. So like the fact that Austin, we kind of have like similar backgrounds. I felt really, I don't know, like I felt more like I had someone to kind of like
a little aspiration.
Yeah, a little aspiration. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I didn't finish high school either, and it was due to the home thing and music.
Right.
But my family wasn't really fucking with it, especially my mom. My dad at the time, he wasn't really around, and you know how people think like musicians are on drugs and shit.
Yep.
And all that stuff. So like my mom wasn't really feeling it because my dad. My family tends to like. There's a lot of times in my family where like we get really close to like achieving something great, and it just falls through.
Yeah.
So she kind of wasn't. She was like,
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it was, man. It was really tough. Honestly, it was really tough. It was a tough time.
Yeah, it's understandable when you're young. You're like finding yourself. You are trying to find the things that you like, the things that move you. And a lot of times that doesn't align with, not to keep going back to Austin, but like, not all of us can have the pops who was A&R for Gibson. Like I wish, you know what I'm saying? I wish, dude. No, but it's a testament to like those people that can find the inspiration from those moments, from the tough times when you're a kid, and like, even if you do come from a musical background like you do, or if you don't, there's a lot of things about your situation that can really either help fuel that creativity and fuel you wanting to pursue music, or it can just like stomp out those embers before they even become a thing,
And it definitely, I would say, like, dude, I was so hungry when I was a teenager. I still am, like, so I wanted to prove to my family, I was like, I'm not going to be some sort of failure, like, that you think I'm going to be like my dad. I'm going to be completely different. I'm going to make this shit happen. And even now, like, even if, like, I'm still sort of like the underdog and I'm, like, coming up, I'm still super proud of, like, where I've come.
You should
because
be, man.
13-year-old Brandon would be fucking crying his tears out if he saw, like, where I was now, like, where I am now. You know, like it's crazy. I talk to my girlfriend about this a lot. Like I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. Like I'm getting closer and closer. It's really weird. Like it's super surreal. I know we keep bringing up Austin, but it's just I relate to him so much because like even when he said he went on tour with like Declare War and fucking all those the two other bands,
Carnifex, and
Carnifex,
I forget the other band, but
dude, like it's just super surreal. Like I'm playing with my favorite band, one of my favorite bands, Chan.
Oh yeah,
you know, like I'm playing with them next year. That's fucking crazy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And inside a cave.
What? Inside a cave?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's inside a fucking cave, man.
Dude, that's so sick.
Dude, you guys should check it out, man. It's called the Pelham Caverns.
The Pelham Caverns. Where's that at? That's the one in Tennessee, you were saying?
Pelham, Tennessee. Yeah, okay. Pelham, Tennessee. Yeah.
Damn, that'd be some epic ass shit to have some metal shows in a cavern, dude.
Yes. That would be amazing.
but yeah, dude, you should definitely be proud. And that's I think at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of things that we can determine as success, right? And you know, be that monetary success, be that, you know, quote unquote like clout or recognition or whatever you want to call it. But you know, it's are you happy? Are you proud of the work that you're doing? You know,
that's the important thing, man.
Yeah,
it's kind of just like proving it to yourself. And kind of like looking at your looking back at your childlike self, like teenage Brandon, like what I was saying, like damn, like you know, looking back at that, I think that's the best way to do it. Is look at your personal growth as a success.
Absolutely, and take those wins. You know, you biggest advice that I have, you know, that if I'm in a position to give anybody advice anyway, biggest advice that I have to anybody, you know, with any goal, like career wise, like, you know, in or outside of music, is like, you know, have your short-term goals to get to your long-term goals and really celebrate those wins and continue to work on those short-term goals to get to that long-term goal. Because, you know, a lot of people will have that like kind of defeated kind of attitude, or like, holy shit, this is super overwhelming, or this is really daunting. It's like, it feels that way, but you know, write the shit down. Like that's what I did with Abiotic when we were a local band. I had a notebook and I was like, this is all the shit that we need to do to become a signed band. I wrote it all down. I wrote down all the logistical details. How much is a music video going to cost? How much is merch going to cost? You know, do we need to do this? How many shows should we be playing a month? Is this too many? Is this not enough? And then just fucking checking it off. You know what I mean? And
that is some good fucking advice. That's A1 advice, because that is so important, man, because those little things will lead to bigger things. Just like the little meticulous things that you do every day. Checking your email, responding to emails, responding to comments, doing all those little things will lead to something. And that's so true. I'm thinking now, man, like I started practicing that, I would say, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's when I got on Ormsby. That's when I got endorsed. And then, so like, that's when I started realizing, like, dude, all these little things lead to greater things. Like, you just have to really, it's like, it's a grind.
Yep. Yeah, it's a grind, and it's, you know, you got to keep doing it. And that's something that, that's advice that I'm giving even to like myself now, which, you know, my band went on a hiatus and I felt the hiatus. You know, we were at a certain point. I felt the steps we had to take back when we came back, and we're still kind of, I feel like, in the recuperating phase of getting back to kind of, you know, where we were previously. But, you know, it's just keep doing it every single day. Take it a day at a time. Just keep fucking doing it. There's going to be the hard days. There's going to be the easy days. But, you know, you gotta, but it's a different perspective for you, right? Like I don't really know what it's like being a quote unquote like solo artist. So what has that been? Have you been in like bands before and then you kind of did the solo thing, or was it like you kind of started it this way?
Yeah. So I've been in bands. Honestly, I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Cause you know, at the time I was doing everything, dude. Like, I was the one that learned how to record. I was the one that kind of did all the social media stuff, and it was not fun. And also, I wanted to take it really serious. I didn't have anyone around me that wanted to take it serious, and man, that's what kind of led me to be like, all right, fuck this. I'm gonna try to do it on my by myself. The other
Yeah.
band after Encryption, I was in Incipients, and it literally was like a rip off Animals as Leaders project. Like,
Okay.
if you listen to our EP Vehement, it literally just sounds like Madness of Many and fucking the album prior to the album. It just sounds like that.
Weightless,
And
I think it was, or yeah.
wait, say it
I
again?
think it was Weightless, the one before that one.
Nah, it wasn't Wait. Joy of Motion.
Joy of Motion.
Yeah, and I hated it. I was like, no. I want to. I kind of like as an keeping my integrity as an artist. I wanted to create something that was fresh to me.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to make something that was just brand new, and I felt like I was kind of pigeonholed in its sound.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do everything. Like I was just like, I got to get out of this. So then that's when I started the Ando San stuff. And in terms of like being an independent artist or just like a one man band type thing and the financial situation, like right now it's doing pretty good. Like I do music full time.
Nice.
The way I get most of my income is mostly like lessons and then believe it or not, like album sales and stuff. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
Sometimes comes through. You know, like of course it varies every month.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have those months where you just get like $20 or $50 or something. You're like,
man, it's a hustle. So real quick, we'll plug it now. We'll plug it at the end. But where can people find that music to grab it? Because if you haven't heard it, you fucking need to. And then if you're looking for some lessons, you need to hit this guy up. So where can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can. My Instagram is Ando__San. You can pretty much just type me into like Google search or something. Just put Ando San. My Bandcamp will show up. My Bandcamp is Ando San. If you wanted to get a listen from me, I'm setting up a website right now for people to kind of like, you know, have it easier on them.
Yeah.
So they can contact me for lessons. But if you wanted to contact me for lessons, best way to do it is through my Instagram, which is Ando__San. Yes.
Awesome.
And my Facebook Ando San is all Ando San. So you gotta type it.
Good. No, that's branding is big, so you're doing it right. But yeah, man, I know I know it's a struggle and awesome to hear that you are taking it on full time. You know, it's a big leap. It's a leap that a lot of people are not willing to do. You know what I mean?
Scary.
Yeah, it is super scary to just
like either way, like I commend anyone. I really do commend anyone that does it full time because it's. I mean, I think prior we were talking about it before. Like just doing social media stuff is just, dude.
It's another job in itself, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like when you're in a band, you're literally doing 6 jobs. Yep. Like you're doing like 6 or 7 jobs. Like
yeah, I said it before. Like if you want to do this shit, take up graphic design, take up fucking engineering, take up social media, learn marketing. Like you got to do so much. A whole
trade, and then you can you can profit off that trade and try to make a business. I've seen it happen so many times to people. It's like, oh, I learned how to use Blender. Like I took like a whole year of using Blender, and now I'm like doing stuff for people. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. So yes, it's totally right, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I commend it. So fucking, keep doing it, man. Keep doing it because I know you've got the talent, you've got the work ethic, and I know it's just it's a matter of time to get where you want to be. But you like I said, be proud of where you are now. I know you are.
Yes, and I love the journey, man. It makes me super humble, and I'm so grateful to know the people that I know and were introduced to the people that and that all really helped me kind of just ground myself. Yeah, I think grounding yourself and being humble really it goes a long way, man. Kind of just looking back and just seeing where you're at, and to now it's, and then also all of that can just fall flat. Your career can just drop at a hat. So it's
yes, it can.
So it's a very finicky thing,
Yeah, high risk, high reward, but you gotta, for guys like us, and I'm speaking for you without you having said it, but it's shit that you got to do it. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I have to do it. You know what I mean? Even if I've got another full-time career, which I do, like, I took some time off and I was writing music during the time off, and I was like, I can't, like, I have to do this. Like, how the fuck do I need to do this shit?
Dude, yeah, you fucking nailed it, man. Like, seriously. I just love it so much. Like, I at the time before I was doing music full time, I was working at Target, fucking hated it.
Yep.
Then I started working at a school, and I was like a campus aide at like a couple of elementary schools, and I wasn't really making a lot of money. And then I came out with Vitality, my first EP, and there was a month where I was like, I came in, like I looked at my email and I was like, holy shit, I made more money on my EP than working at my regular job.
Fuck yeah.
And then that's when I was like, I'm quitting. I quit and I started doing music full time. And like, but that all goes back to just like the love of it, you know, like it really, because you're not going to make a lot of money, but it's just like, it just feels so fulfilling. It feeds the soul. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's such a blessed thing to feel, because not a lot of people feel that. Like,
not a lot of people get to wake up and do what they love, man. So
so man, I feel so blessed that I can sit in my room and fucking just play guitar. Like, it's just so cool.
Hell yeah, dude. So Scheming Season is the last record you put out, right?
Yeah, Scheming Season. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, and that came out. Yeah. That came out early this year, didn't it?
Yeah, dude, that came out in January. Yeah, it came out in January, man. And then
I saw you hyping it up, and
yeah, I'm still trying to. You know, I'm coming out with another album called "Sometimes It Be Like That."
Awesome. Oh yeah.
It's gonna have. Before I was just gonna make another EP, but I kind of I want to get your opinion on it. Like, I sort of like, since I came out with an album, I kind of like the album thing more than the EP thing. I don't know, it fits my vibe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I like making like a ton of songs and you're just like, bleh, you know. How do you feel about it?
So I'm kind of in two different camps on it, honestly, and I guess it kind of depends on a few things. I think for like the traditional, and I say traditional, it's just like, you know, band, record tour. You know, I think that works just because it's like, it's what has kind of worked over the years. But I think a really good approach, maybe even right now, and, you know, even just get Gary V on you and like, you know, in your specific situation, I personally think like if you put out singles consistently, I think that would be a little, that might help with when you do want to drop another like bigger record. So I think like for instrumental stuff, and I think even like it's basically like taking the hip hop route, right? Like there's a bunch of people like, you know, I'm a big fan of the rapper Joyner Lucas. I don't know if you know Joyner Lucas, but
Joyner Lucas, I know about him.
Yeah, so Joyner, for his last album, I guess he had some issues with when he was going to drop it. I think he was like transitioning away from a label and like doing his own thing, but he put out just a bunch of singles without, you know, any other like no record release date. There wasn't anything on it. He just dropped mad singles with good content, you know, videos, whatever, like, you know, like I've seen you do. And each of those singles separately blew up, as opposed to like trying to have your whole album blow up. I think that's a little bit more of a challenge just in today's kind of like climate atmosphere of like people consuming music and like how people consume music and shit like that. So I think like for in just specifically like the solo guitar niche, that I think would be a sick approach. And, you know, try it, and if it's kind of just throwing shit on the wall and see if it sticks. But
totally.
I don't know. I'm not a professional marketing guy either.
Yeah, actually, so I already have sort of like a release plan set up.
Nice.
I'll be happy to share that with you too, because I also want other people to kind of like get an idea like how the process is. So I actually got onto a management company called Mammoth Music Group.
Nice.
And basically, like, the way that I was putting out albums or EPs were like completely wrong. Especially now, like, it's okay to make an album, but like you're saying, the single format is sort of the way to go. Oh, yeah. So I've actually learned a thing called soft releases.
Yep.
So essentially what it is, it's like you create the entire album, right? The whole album's written, but then you either release the songs in week or 2 week increments.
Yep.
Right. So like once you release those songs in like in a week or 2 week increments, like they all lead into an album.
Yep.
I think there's a way to do that in Spotify. Like there's also a way, like when you do put music up on Spotify, you can actually like, I'm sure you already know this. You can like basically what is it called? You hit up one of the Spotify playlist curators and you send your music there. Like you should always do that. Like that's what I've learned. I just learned recently. I was like, oh shit! Like you should always do that. Like always send your music to the playlist curators because you never know whether or not they'll put your music on the playlist or like on that, the monthly listener thing.
Yeah. Shit's super helpful,
dude. Oh my god. So like I'm definitely gonna be doing that for my next release. We actually coming out with like release plans and shit and
that's
all that stuff. Yeah, and I'm actually switching the whole like straight up instrumental album thing. So the next album's gonna have singing, rapping.
Oh,
it's gonna have everything. Yeah, it's gonna have everything in it. So it's gonna be a lot different from like my last previous releases. It's gonna sound completely different.
Awesome, man.
I have a lot of really cool drummers. I'll just say it right now. I have
give us the inside scoop. Word.
Yeah, Thomas Bridges is gonna be one of my songs.
Yo, that's so sick. I saw him one time at NAMM, and I was just like,
he's insane, man. He's insane. He's like that's insane to me too, because he's like one of my favorite drummers of all time.
That's amazing, man. Bro, props on that. Congrats on that, dude. That's huge.
Yeah, thank you, man. And then I have Mario from Chan. He's gonna be one of my. And a couple other people are like friends of mine. His name's Ian. He's like a singer, R&B type guy, and other people are sort of just like guitar players and stuff, like Maximilian and all those other dudes.
Nice. See, so that's the move too, and we're kind of doing something a little bit similar. So we've got a lot more features on our new record than we've had before. About half the songs have features on them. Too, thank you, man. Yeah, and I think
that is sick as fuck.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I think going the route with the features, like I said, we keep going back to the hip hop thing. I think that's another way to do it. Not all of us can be J. Cole and double platinum no features. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's cool to collab with different people. I personally love in metal and in hip hop hearing features. I love hearing like someone's.
I love to hear more features in metal.
Exactly.
Dude,
yeah.
That would be so sick.
I think a lot of guys don't get it. A lot of guys are like, oh, why would you want to hear, someone who does death metal vocals on your death metal band when your death metal vocalist does death metal vocals? And for me, it's like, yeah, but that guy does vocals for that band. He sounds like he's got a specific sound for his band. That's the same reason that like I want to hear, JID on a Kendrick track because I love his style and I want to hear it in a different context. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you got the right approach there, and that's been like the classic approach to dropping a record. So for us, for example, we got to have a record turned in 4 months before it comes out.
Yeah.
So we got to turn in all the art. We got to do everything, masters everything 4 months before it comes out. And then, the typical release strategy is like, about 3 months before the record comes out, you drop a single. Then the following month, you drop a single. You do the pre-order shit.
I'm just like this year, I've learned all that. Like I knew about it, but like getting more of like the theoretical, analytical side of it. Like, dude, it's so important. Like, it's crazy.
It's hard, man. It's hard for like, speaking for myself, just like, I was a little bit business minded when I started doing this, but at the same time, I was always like, shit, man, like we got management now, we got an agent and shit, we got a label. Like, can I just play music and like not do anything else? And the answer is fucking no. You can't do that.
I thought things would get a little bit easier for me when I got a manager, but actually I got more shit on my plate now.
Yep. So you got more ask. You understand more, and the fun thing about doing this too is that you learn something new every record you do. You learn something new every song you do. It's again for me super humbling, and it's like you said before too, just loving the process, loving going through the process, and being a student of the craft is really, I think, super important, you know.
Dude, how does it feel to be on Metal Blade though? Like,
dude, so we were on Metal Blade. It was so after we went on hiatus, we were no longer with Metal Blade. We recently signed with a label called the Artisan Era.
oh shit, Artisan Era is amazing. Don't they have Veil and Nath on there?
I think they do. Velnath is Willow Tip, I think.
Or is it In Full Darkness?
Darkness? Yeah, In Full Darkness, I think is putting out a new record with them. They've got Inferi, which is, Malcolm's band. They have Equipoise.
Malcolm Poise, yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of sick up and coming tech death bands. I think they're one of the big up and coming.
Artisan Era is fucking sick, yeah.
Yeah. Being on Metal Blade was pretty surreal, dude. And it's similar kind of to what we were talking about before, where it's like sometimes there's a small fish, big pond situation,
Yeah.
And that stuff can be a little bit challenging, but big props to those guys for taking a chance on a band like us from Miami, Florida, and that had no touring history, and like we're just kind of doing it. You know what I mean?
You have so much experience on your belt, man. That's such like a really awesome thing to have. Like all the kind of like you just like been through a lot of things, And
yeah, man. It was a lot of learning through the tough situations. So it's sometimes making the wrong decisions, or not making the best decision, for you to kind of realize and have that.
Yeah. I also applaud you, because it's really hard to kind of like move yourself up or motivate yourself to keep going in those bad situations.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of like, the van breaking down on the side of the road halfway into a tour. And
I've never toured before either.
Yeah, that honestly, like when you do get into it, man, like the biggest recommendation I can make is just get a reliable vehicle, because that was probably the most detrimental thing to our careers early on. Was like in the first 2 years we went through like 4 vans.
Dang, really?
So 4? Like, replacing fucking you name it, dude. I had a fuel pump go bad on me while I was driving on the highway, steering wheel locked up. Like we could like barely inch over a 5-lane fucking highway in Arizona. Had to pull over in Arizona, stranded in the heat, fucking broke. So everybody having to call their fucking moms to like borrow money to fix the van and be able to get home. Like, so those are the things that like, they, yeah, dude. But it's that shit that it puts some, again, not to pigeonhole genders, but put some proverbial fucking hair on your chest. You know what I'm saying? And like,
totally.
It's shit that sucks, but kind of stuff that, and I'm sure you've got it too throughout your career, shit that sucks, but that you're glad you went through, because if you didn't, you might not have the perspective. You might not have the appreciation for doing what you do without, like, if everything was great all the time, that's how you get jaded. That's how you get ungrateful. That's how you get complacent, So you've got Ando San. Now you're working on like a black and metal project. What's that called?
Yeah, it's called Impudence.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. I basically, I've always, black metal's sort of always been like my favorite genre.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was like into some weird shit. Like, but yeah, I've always loved black metal, and I've always like the black and metal stuff. Like there's bands that really touch on it. I mean, of course, Behemoth is like one of the, like,
oh dude,
they're like one of the kings of it.
Oh,
but you got bands like Warforged, where they have like this really just blackened, this fucking just sounds like they're in like mud, dirty ass metal. I love that shit. Like I love like super dirty, grimy, just like this muck metal.
I want to say their vocalist Adrian was hanging out. He's a longtime homie of mine. I did my first U.S. tour with him when he was doing vocals for In Full Darkness, actually. So.
Oh shit! No way.
Glad to see him.
Oh, that's amazing, man. And In Full Darkness sort of has like kind of like a blackened metal vibe to it as well. Now I've always loved that sound. So like Impudence is sort of like my attempt at making like super fucking nasty metal.
Nice.
Like I just really want to make like some stanky ass metal, and like I've always wanted to. the thing is, like, all the metal bands that I've tried making have failed, and like they either disband or we stop making music. And I don't want to do that with this project. I kind of just it's been like years since I've written metal, so I feel really like refreshed, and I'm like, yes, like I want to do this. Like metal's always been my favorite genre. It was the first genre that I fell in love with.
Yeah, man.
The thing is, I fell in love with metal, then I fell in love with hip hop. So, I think if I didn't fall in love with metal first, I would have never had the proper appreciation of hip hop that I would have now. So, yeah, nice. Impudence. It's I'm coming out with the EP. It's called Vile Commune on August 3rd.
Sick, dude. Yeah. I mean, I seen the video and you still got it. So, and wow, that's like in like less than 3 weeks.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, the reason why it's coming out so fast, I've been busting my ass because I have this, I have the trial version of Easy Drummer. It expires in 10 days. So I think I'm on like day 7.
All right.
I got to finish this. But I've been doing a really good job, dude. Like I swear. When you listen to it, I put my heart and soul in it. Like, so it's not gonna sound like just like a bunch of shit I just pulled out of my ass.
Yeah.
No. So that's why it's coming out so fast, because I got that trial version of Easy Drummer.
That's hilarious. I feel like that sounds black metal as fuck to me. So, so I look forward to hearing that, man. Definitely. I'll keep an eye out for when it releases. I'm gonna be picking that shit up. So I'll keep an eye out and let me know so I can push that shit.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude. So I wanted to get a little bit into what it's like, because I personally haven't experienced like too much of it, maybe a little bit. I mean, but I kind of wanted to get into like what you felt like, if you've had any kind of certain experiences being in metal, doing what you do as a solo guitar player, being a person of color. Like, I think now with, more of the racial injustices coming to light, the protests and everything, I think more than ever, it's been great for me anyway, because I'm pretty cognizant and aware of like what I consume, who I listen to, and maybe what some of their views are on the issues that really matter to me. Like, we can disagree on taxes, bro. Like, if you think the taxes should go to the military and I think they should go to healthcare, we can disagree on that all we want. If it comes to like, civil rights, we cannot agree to disagree on that. I do not fuck with you if we can't be on the same page as something as basic as that. You know what I mean? So how's that, like, how have you navigated that coming up in the metal community,
Yeah. So I honestly, in the beginning, man, when I was a teenager, like I'm just now realizing it. I think because of the movement, it's kind of come to light, and it's kind of like made me think about a lot of things that were said to me when I was younger.
Yeah.
That were like inherently racist.
Right.
A lot of times they tokenized Black people in metal.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when I was a metal vocalist, like I was the Black metal vocalist.
Right.
And in the way, like, it's cool that I'm getting that acknowledgement, but it's like, I don't like being tokenized.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I don't like being used as an object.
Yeah.
And I feel like, for guys like Adam Warren, like from Oceano, and like there's a couple of other metal vocalists, and Terrence Hobbs, like that's another one. I mean, all those guys, like I think if it wasn't for them, I kind of would have felt like left out.
Right.
In a way. Right now I would say it's still getting better, but it's still like in this weird, I think it's only like moved up just a little bit.
Yeah. Because
there's still a lot of tokenization of people of color and like Black people in general, like in metal. And I think it's really bad. I feel like the metal community is very open, but also it's just like when you do those kind of things, it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really hurts, and it makes me feel inferior in a way.
Right.
And that's what I felt when I was younger. Like even when listening to metal, and like I felt a sense of shame of my skin color because of the shit that people used to say to me. So I think after I kind of moved to my sisters, like I was telling you, I learned to accept that I am who I am and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely do. I'm so glad that people are speaking up about it, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of alley shit happening, and that's really awesome, dude. And there's a lot of conversations, and that's
Yep.
that's the beautiful thing about all of this. It's like people are having conversations, and they're actually like questioning things, which is really really nice, especially me listening to a lot of black metal.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about how you felt about that.
You can't even imagine the jokes that I got.
Yeah.
I mean, like I laughed, but it was like, fuck. After a while, it gets kind of redundant. It's like,
Right.
all right, you're just like poking a dead chicken,
Right.
like, and I definitely feel a lot more like me saying that, like black metal now. Like I don't feel as weird about it.
Right.
Especially, I would have to give my respect to this black dude growing up. I was a young black metalhead, and there was this older dude. I forgot his name, but like in my neighborhood, like he knew more about black metal lore than anyone.
Oh, shit.
So like I remember I met him we used to have this place called Red Zone, and that's where all the metalheads used to hang out.
Yep.
And like I used to go to Red Zone, and I was like the only black guy there. Then one day, this tall black dude with dreads walked in, and he saw me wearing like an Emperor shirt. He was like, "What do you know about Emperor?" Like,
ooh, check, dude.
He checked me. I was like, "Oh shit!" But kind of like I don't know. He helped me really like appreciate the fact that oh, okay, you're black, but it's okay that you listen to metal.
Yeah.
And all these people that are doing this, it's not right. Like like you should feel at home. So if it wasn't, awesome. I forgot his name. And I've only the weird thing is I've only met him like 4 times, but it was such an inspirational moment in my life, and it kind of like made me realize like, dude, like it's okay. That's probably a weird story, but
no, it's a it just speaks to like how people can really make an impact on your life and not even necessarily have to play a giant part in it every day, and that's not a lot of people get that, particularly maybe black people in your situation where like they don't have that someone who can say, hey, this is okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and what some people are saying is fucking not okay. So we shouldn't be normalizing it. We should be, doing what's still, there's so much work to be done and just so much to do to get to the place where, I feel like anyway that we need to be. But it's, and dude, it was just like so frustrating and sad to see. Like it didn't happen too much on like our platform on the Abiotic platform. I feel like we've maybe done a pretty good job of like,
oh, you guys do an amazing job, man.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. And we've done our best to like maybe weed some of those people out already, but I was seeing like I was just talking with Trevor from Black Dahlia, and he was saying, they've been a really loud voice in all of this, and it's been amazing to see. But they were saying like, how many followers they've lost or how many fucking dumb things they've seen in their comments. And for me, I think this kind of plays on something that like you can't really understand somebody's perspective on certain things if you don't think that way. It's kind of like a quote unquote like thief, someone who is by definition a thief. Like you're not going to understand how they would take advantage of a situation and steal something if you don't think that way. So for me, it's like I don't understand how I came up, again, the black sheep of my family. I don't understand how someone who listens to metal and the innate, like, as metal, we're outsiders. We are the people that people look at and don't understand. Like, how can you not relate?
It's such a brotherhood, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So how can you not relate to someone, to a group of people that the exact same thing happens to them on a daily basis, but only because of the color of their skin? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's just such a cognitive dissonance, dude.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, man. And I'm just really glad that people are talking about it. Like, that makes me so happy. Like, I would have never met. Teenage Brandon would be super stoked. Like, I would, it's just really fucking cool, dude. And And even like I shouts out to like a lot of the metal Travis Ryan
Yeah,
from Cali Capitation. He's such a cool fucking guy, dude.
he's
Like
a man.
I remember like my old death metal band Encryption. We played with them, and like the
Sick.
first time I saw him, I just fucking hugged him. Like I was just like, oh, dude. And he was so nice, dude.
That's awesome.
He was so nice. Like we sat backstage, and then that was surreal for me. You know how like being in like your high school metal band and you play with one of your favorite bands, you get to hang out with them. It's like, oh,
dude, that still happens, man. That still happens. Like, you know, we toured with Cattle a couple times, and I'm good buddies with Travis, so I'm gonna, you know, give him some shit and say that he's one of the vocalists that gives bands shit about doing features. Travis. But no, I love Travis to death. Travis is a fucking awesome dude.
Crazy vocalist.
The craziest are, you know, in my top 3 easily, no questions.
Yeah. Wait, before we move on, what are your top 3 vocalists?
Oh, that's hard. Okay, so so my top 2 for sure are Johnny Davey from JFAC.
Yes.
And then Travis.
Yeah, I think we got the same ones.
Yep. my three I gotta think about it. My 3 might be wild card. Maybe Michael from The Contortionist, just because he's so versatile and I love his cleans. But that's kind of just an off the cuff. But for sure, Johnny and Travis are hands down my favorites.
Yeah. So yeah, for me it's Johnny Davey, Travis Ryan, and Mikael Algerfelt from Opeth.
Okay. Yeah. Mikael kind of, yeah, he tops Michael just a little bit. So, but fuck, what were we just talking about?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm talking about metal vocalists.
Yeah, just, you know, so touring with or playing with seeing musicians. So like when we first played with Animals, and the first time I sat in a green room one time with Tosin, I was just
shit.
I don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of like ultra starstruck stories I have, like where, you know, sometimes I'll be like, oh fuck, like I get, you know, a little bit of the butterflies. You meet somebody new and somebody you don't know, and you're like, oh, is he gonna be a dick, whatever. But like Tosin, I had I was good buddies at the time with the guy who was doing guitar tech for BT Bam. So every time he came through, nice. He would set my guitars up, and they did a tour together. So I was hanging in the green room after my guitar was set up with Andy. Shout out Andy, I love you, bud. Setting up my guitar, and Tosin was sitting on a couch, and Paul from BT Bam was sitting on a couch. They're sitting next to each other. Andy hands me my guitar. I'm like, I feel like I never played before in my whole life, dude. I was just like, I didn't do a strum. I didn't like fret a note. I was just like, I couldn't do anything. So Tosin, I think it's been a little while, but he was like, oh, you know, can I see that for a minute? And he asked Paul like, oh, do you want to check this out? And Paul was like, nah, I'm straight. Like, I'm good. But Tosin grabs it and just like starts being Tosin on it. And for sure, like I kind of like blacked out for a second, like, you know what I mean? Like vision lost for just a split second, kind of came back and was just like, for sure, I made a damn fool out of myself for sure, probably. But yeah, anyway, I can relate to the surrealness of like, you know, meeting somebody that, you know, you idolize or like you really look up to, you know?
Yes, man. Yeah, that actually happened to me as well. You ever heard of a band called Pathology?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the, what's that guy's name?
I think Kevin is their main dude.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, I saw them with Deicide a while ago.
Sick.
And like, I was a huge fan of the vocalist of Pathology, and I was like 16. And like, I went up to him, and I was like,
yep, been there.
Yeah, so
but yeah, I mean, I wanted to get your take. I did watch a video of yours too that I really appreciated. You know, where we're in a weird time right now with you know the racial inequality, the systemic, you know, oppression and all that stuff. And you know, I think bands right now, anybody with a platform, I think it's great and arguably incumbent on you to do your part to utilize your platform and your voice to help make a difference. I'm borderline like on the fence of like, you know, if you're quiet, you're complicit almost. But I watched your video and you really like, you know, gave people some slack, which I appreciated. As like, you know, maybe not everybody is as like, I don't know the best way to put it. Maybe you can clarify better. Like, you know, gung ho. Like if you don't want to say anything, like that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
That's perfectly fine. I can. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like a lot of bands right now, which is a really beautiful thing. Like it's a beautiful thing what you guys are doing. Like how you guys are donating and stuff. That's amazing. But like, you shouldn't demonize someone for not doing that.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know, like I feel like there needs to be some slack because keep in mind, like there's a lot of people are going through a lot of just like really terrible things. Like you don't know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
Their mom could have died yesterday.
For sure.
You know, it's like stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like people need to be more kind to others. Like, I'm sure the people that aren't really speaking up feel the same way that you feel.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes it's just like it's a little too much. You get what I mean?
For
like to kind of just like throw yourself out there all the time and just like speak out about it. That takes a lot of mental energy.
And a lot of nuance too. You know, sorry to interrupt you, but like
it's totally fine.
It's like also you don't want to come off as like taking advantage of a situation. You know what I mean? You don't want to come off as disingenuous. So it's like super hard, you know, to navigate sometimes something like that. With possibly, you know, the possibility of people that thinking that you're not genuine, that you don't actually, you know, you're not actually about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, that's totally true. And then, you know, there's also the problem of people kind of taking advantage of this and profiting off of the movement and like what's happening. And that's really shitty.
Yeah.
So it's like, you really have to like, you kind of have to be careful and kind of just really read into things in the way it is and just the way it is. And like, try to, of course, like what you said before, like when it comes to just like, just people in general and races in general, it's like there's no fucking questions. Like it's shitty, you know, and that's the most important part. You got to know that it's wrong, and then like, you know, it's up to you if you want to post about it and share your feelings of it and like kind of just like use your platform to promote it, you know. Like it's honestly up to you. I don't think anyone that is inherently quiet, and of course I think it depends on the situation. Like there could be people that are super loud about it like a couple of months ago. Then now, since it's the time to fucking get down and dirty, you know what I mean? They're super quiet. Like it just depends on the situation. But I really don't. I'm not the type of person that's going to demonize someone and say they're a terrible person because they didn't post a picture about it.
Right.
You know, I have plenty of friends that don't post anything, but they have donated. They have helped. They, you know, they go to charities. They do all this stuff. So, you know, but I'm glad that you brought that up, man. It's kind of an important conversation. I think.
I agree. And perspective is super necessary, you know.
I really don't want people feeling bad because that's what I see. I've talked to a lot of my friends too. They're like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I want to help, but like, you know, they're just, you know. And then the cool thing is, there's resources out there that tell you, like, okay, boy, if you want to help, then you can do this, you can do that. You know, there's tons of stuff online, so you can look up and kind of like get your own sort of like take and knowledge on it and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. You know, it was a little rough for me to kind of like really process some of that, you know, initially, where, you know,
it's a lot to process.
It is. Yeah. The knee jerk reaction is like, oh, you know, if you're not saying something, you know, why aren't you? Like, you should be. That's kind of everybody's knee jerk. And like you said, it's, you know, we're empathizing with the situation. It's also important to empathize with each other. Empathize with what, like you said, what somebody else might be going through. Again, you know, if somebody might feel they may come off as disingenuous, and, you know, not everybody has to be loud about their support. It doesn't mean that they're not supporting. So,
and that's the thing. A lot of the times I ask people, it's like they just don't want to feel like fake,
right?
You know, and I hate that they feel that way too, because it's totally okay to help people. I don't know who instilled that in them, but it's it's okay, you know, it's okay to like put out a voice and say, hey, that's fucking wrong, you
Yeah.
know, like that's totally fine. And I feel like a lot of that comes, I mean, we're going in deeper territory, childhood trauma
Yeah,
and all that shit. Like it could stem from that reason
sure.
why they feel that way. So you just never know. Never know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's some of my favorite parts about doing this. And I said it a little bit. Well, one more time we'll refer to Austin is really getting into the nitty gritty because like, you know, I'm sure you've done some interviews, you know, with some folks around, you know, when your music comes out and shit like that. And it's like a lot of the times you can feel like you're getting the same 10, 15 questions. And a lot of the times there's a little blurb that comes out. There's a headline, there's just a little tiny thing. And you know, in this arena, there's more context. You can sit and have a conversation, flesh out the details, talk about things that maybe, you know, you have different opinions on and really like kind of really just hash that kind of shit out. So it's awesome. And I appreciate you, you know, kind of diving into that with me.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Yeah, I love it. Like I love the conversation that you have. I love the conversation that you have with everyone. I think it's a really, really awesome platform, and I'm so glad to see it, like, you know, flourishing. Like it's doing really well, dude.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on, and you mentioned him, but I've got in the works. We're nailing down a date. So Adam's going to be jumping on the show at some point. So.
Hey, fuck yeah! All right, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch that. That's awesome.
So I had a couple other questions for you. We'll kind of get into you know, a little bit less dense topic. So I did notice, of course, like a lot of the themes behind the Ando San stuff. There's a lot of like anime, you know, themes around it, which I love. I'm a huge anime fan too. What how did that kind of get into the music, and what are some of your like favorite animes?
Oh shit. Dude, all right. So I've always been a huge anime fan. I'm definitely a bit of a weeb.
Okay.
My wife who's in the closet actually. I'm not gonna put her on my bed because I do think that's kind of weird. But I grew up with anime. I'm sure we all did. Like I feel like our generation, Toonami is the one thing that introduced me to anime, you know. And my first anime and my favorite is actually Yu Yu Hakusho.
Nice.
Yu Yu Hakusho, man, I've watched it like 5 times, all 112 episodes.
Damn.
And that's what really made me fall in love with anime. And of course, like I'll even share my anime list with you.
Okay.
I have my anime list. So like I have like a whole list of animes that like I've watched and like that I'm watching right now. And dope. Yeah, dude. Like, so I would say Yu Yu Hakusho. There's another one called Vinland Saga.
Nice.
It's freaking crazy, dude. It's basically like, I'm not gonna say what it is like all the way through, but it's basically like set in like kind of like the Viking time around that era, and it's about this kid that his dad was like a crazy ass warrior, but he kind of like retired and he like flew from the military to kind of start a family.
Yeah.
Then the people come, they find him, they kill him, and then this kid. The whole anime is about this kid trying to kill this very specific person that murdered his dad.
Avenge his dad's death.
It's insane. So Yu Yu Hakusho, Vinland Saga, definitely. I don't know if you see it. I have a Cowboy Bebop scroll.
Nice. You got your blurred background, but
oh shit! Yeah, probably
now you're good.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop.
Nice.
I know those are very, very generic animes, but there's a reason why they're probably one of the most popular ones.
Yeah.
Because they had a very significant, you know, effect on the popular media, and it's because it was well written. The music was amazing. Naruto was another one. I have a scroll there.
Let me see if you can see. Wait.
Oh shit!
I got a couple other Naruto tattoos. That's my shit. And like you said, you know, mainstream animes. Like I'm not I don't get into the super obscure ones. Just because like after getting into Naruto and it like taking up my entire fucking life because of how long it is.
what, Naruto's like 300 episodes, and then fucking Shippuden's like 500 or something like that.
Right.
So
Insane.
it's a lot.
So I'm turning 31, and up until it ended, I started watching that when I was 15 years old on the summer from 8th grade to 9th grade.
Woo!
And like,
damn, that was really exciting.
It was.
Yeah, yeah.
I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it. It was coming out once a week in Japan, and I was watching it, with the subs with my buddy. We were just like diehard fucking fans. And Dragon Ball Z. Again, you said Toonami. That was what really like my first introduction to anime. And
yeah, dude. And the thing is, Toonami has also played like very obscure ones. They got Ergo Proxy.
Yeah,
you know that one. Ergo Proxy is a very kind of like not well known anime, and Toonami is like they played like some really sick ass
Fooly Cooley. So FLCL was another one that they did that I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Trigun is another one that I watched on Toonami that I was all about.
If you like Trigun, you should definitely check out Sword X Sword.
Okay.
It's like set in kind of like a Western,
a similar Western kind of vibe.
Yeah. Sword X Sword is sick, but it has mechs in it too. It has like it's like a mech anime,
sick. Like Gundam sort of.
And another one is Vampire Hunter D.
Oh, I've heard so many good things about that one, and I haven't watched it yet.
If you love Castlevania, like the game, the game series, like dude, Vampire Hunter D is metal as fuck too.
Hell yeah.
Hellsing as well. Hellsing is amazing. That's another one. Hellsing is.
I was big into Death Note too. Death Note fucked my shit up.
Death Note was a really good one too. So that's another one. A very well written story.
Yep.
And that's why it's popular. It's because it's well written. A lot of animes are shit.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. So,
a lot of it's cringy as fuck. And if you're listening to us right now and you don't fuck with anime and like we're getting into the anime tangent, we get it. I get it anyway.
I get it. Yeah. It's pretty fucky. So I totally understand.
All right, cool, man. So before we wrap, what have you been jamming lately? Like, what's on your playlist?
Okay, so, dude, my playlist has been like very weird. So I've been playing a lot of old Busta Rhymes.
Nice.
I've been playing his old album When Disaster Strikes. That was like his first album. And then like I've been bumping a shit ton of Goat Whore.
Nice. Oh, Goat Whore.
Yeah, I fucking love Goat Whore.
So good. Underrated as fuck, man.
Yeah, super underrated.
Yep.
Super underrated. Also, the vocalist is in another band called Soylent Green, but I don't think they're really doing anything anymore. Soylent Green's amazing. I think they were on Metal Blade.
Yeah. Go Whore's on Metal Blade too, yep.
Go Whore's on Metal, yeah, they're on Metal Blade as well. Okay, and then after that, I've been listening to a ton. I mean, I'm always jamming Jay Dilla.
Nice.
Always jamming. And I've honestly been getting into like a ton of like bossa nova type stuff too.
Dope.
And then also a ton of like Japanese music, like Japanese disco, and Japanese disco, and a ton of like house music as well, like deep house music.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what I've been dabbling with.
Nice. Well, hopefully we'll hear some influences on the new shit and all those different genres, man, because it's a wide variety of different kind of tunes, and I can certainly hear a lot of that stuff in your music, so that's dope, man.
I definitely do try to emulate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, dude, it was a pleasure. I know we never really had like a full-on conversation before, so it was awesome getting to know you. I'm glad we did too. So you already know you can send stuff my way. If there's anything I can help out with, I'm gonna send some shit your way too.
Sure.
Thanks again for coming on and again, giving us some perspective on some touchy topics, right?
Yeah.
And I hope to have you on again, man. And I can't wait to hear your new album. I fucking wish you all the best. And I hope post Corona, you get to tour your ass off and that like all your musical dreams come true, man, because you're talented, you're a hard worker. You deserve that shit, dude.
Thank you, man. You as well. I mean, I can say all of that straight back to you. So seriously, same energy, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, dude.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you, everybody who watched tonight, who stuck around. If you jumped on in the middle of this interview with Ando, this will be up. I promise. Eventually, I'm getting my shit together. It'll be up on YouTube. It'll be up on Spotify. You'll be able to watch Austin's interview as well. Again, this is the Big Shred Podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Austin, man.
Big shout out to Austin. We'll have another episode this coming Saturday, guest TBA, but I'll be announcing pretty soon. Again, thanks for hanging out with us on another Wednesday. Check us out on Instagram, the Big Shred Podcast. Follow the Facebook page if you're not. Shout out to everybody that watched on Twitch today and to my boy Joel Cupcake who did a little raid of the stream on Twitch. And I hope you all have a great night. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace. Thanks, Ando.
Peace.